graphic that was doing the rounds on social media that seemed to suggest there was going to be quite a few people on this show tonight as we put the finishing touches towards the build for Money in the Bank. Let me just quickly jump over to WWE's Twitter account, and I can tell you what they are reporting. Lacey Evans, Raquel Rodriguez, and Shotzi will take on Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan. So we have got Raw superstars coming over onto SmackDown. It's going to be a big 6-woman tag match tonight. Don't know where Becky is. I'm sure she'll make her presence felt as we are literally just hours away from Money in the Bank. We've also got the New Day taking on the Viking Raiders and more. So that's what we've got in order for, or in store for tonight. We've got a big 6-woman tag match. We've also got New Day taking on the Viking Raiders. I'm just having a look to see if there is anything else. Who will claim the final spot in the men's Money in the Bank? So there is one spot left. We did wonder if that was going to be like a mystery position that they would leave for the show. But just looking at the official preview, it does say who will claim the final spot in the men's Money in the Bank. So it seems like that might be part of the storyline tonight. That might be, a focus of the show, which is pretty cool, to be honest, because it's nice that we've got something significant that we can actually get our teeth into. So, I don't mind that. I don't mind the fact that there potentially won't be a surprise mystery person at Money in the Bank, because there's already lots of potential for surprises. You could, of course, have Bayley returning at Money in the Bank. It's got to be time. It can't be far away. I think she either comes back at Money in the Bank or she'll be back as we build towards SummerSlam. It really can't be long. So I still think there's potential for surprises. But maybe that mystery person won't be one of them. Joey says, hello, Joey. Joey said, what are your thoughts on Logan Paul signing? So, my thoughts on Logan Paul, we can get to that in 1 second. Let me just say, whilst I remember, that Money in the Bank, right? Money in the Bank. The watch-along for that will not be on this channel. Yeah, let's get nice and clear. Yeah, we've got a great community. We've got loads of people that join us on a regular basis, and I love you all. But the Money in the Bank watch-along is not on this channel. It's over on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel, right? It's because Money in the Bank is clashing, colliding, going head-to-head with a massive, monstrous UFC show. So it's the UFC show that's on this channel, and it's the Money in the Bank watch-along on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. So let's get that nice and clear. Let's get that out there, because I already know there's going to be a lot of confusion tomorrow as people are looking for that watch-along. But very excited about tomorrow. Massive, massive day. Money in the Bank. I'm genuinely going into it with, I would say, a level of excitement that is probably not been higher since WrestleMania. I'm more excited for Money in the Bank than I was WrestleMania Backlash. I'm more excited for Money in the Bank than I was Hell in a Cell. Definitely more excited than I was for, say, Forbidden Door. I'm trying to think of any other shows we've had, basically, since WrestleMania. I feel like this is the most excited I've been for a pro wrestling show since WrestleMania. So, looking forward to seeing who wins, who gets those briefcases, if we do get any returns, and what the undercard is like as well. So, looking forward to it. In regards to Logan Paul, I've got an interesting position on Logan Paul, which I think might surprise a few people, and I think might also be something that people disagree with, but I think that also some will agree with. My take on it is that it's all right. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not celebrating from the rooftops. I would rather it wasn't happening, but I'm all right with it, and it's not a problem, and can't say I massively hate it or anything. Like, it's not an issue for me. There's a few reasons for that. The first one being that I understand why they're doing it. He's got a massive young audience, and WWE is constantly trying to find ways of kind of reaching out to, people that's not watching. Be that going on late night talk shows, or being on, trying to get into on the cover of magazines, or we've seen them working with celebrities, and we've seen influencers and musicians and everyone working with WWE. So they're constantly, in lots of different ways, trying to find how they can reach people that aren't watching. And you'd have to say that young, vibrant audience that Logan Paul has, that's a great audience to reach. So I totally get why they want to work with him. Totally get it. He is over 20 odd million people are subscribed to his YouTube channel. He's a massive personality. He is kind of, if you think about the Attitude Era, wrestling was right at the heart of everything. You had Mike Tyson in the ring at WrestleMania, and he was the biggest, baddest man in the world. And they were just all over pop culture. Pamela Anderson, do you remember walking Shawn Michaels down to the ring earlier in the 90s? And I don't know, it just kind of really felt like they were, if you talk about the late 90s and you talk about what was going on in the world and you talk about the culture, I feel like you have to talk about WWE because it was so relevant, and it was a form of entertainment that was being enjoyed by so many people. The business was red hot. It was absolutely on fire, and they were right bang in the center of pop culture, along with the likes of Jerry Springer, South Park. They were right there with all of that stuff, that car crash TV that was going on at the time. They were absolutely a part of that world. So, Jackass. I don't know if that was late 90s, early 2000s, but again, Jackass kind of around the same time, and they were very much hitting the same markets. But, yeah, I totally get why they want to work with him. Makes sense. They want his audience. They want to reach out to his audience. So, tick, get it. I'm not a fan of celebrities coming into wrestling that then wrestle, right? And we keep going over this, and I'll go over it again for those that haven't heard my take on this. I think that wrestling should be respected. I think that you need to be highly trained, not trained for a month, or 2 months, right? But a long time, highly trained, right? Because we're not just talking about pro wrestling. We're not just talking about getting in there and giving it a go. We're talking about WWE is meant to be the best of the best, right? WWE is meant to be the greatest wrestlers, the greatest performers in the world. You're not meant to just have a month or two's training and then be good enough to beat these people or have matches with, or even be able to do any kind of a move on these people. I said before, there's no way you could train for a month or two and then step into the octagon and take on the likes of Israel Adesanya or Conor McGregor. You're going to need a lot more training, years of training, to get to a level where you even could survive a minute standing in an octagon with those guys. I don't even know how many years of training you would need to be competitive against them. But, this idea that a singer, a celebrity, can have a few months training and then, be competitive against what we're told is the best of the best. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute. I can't get my head around why I'm meant to believe this. Why this is meant to be good for the business. I understand them being involved, but have them as timekeepers, have them as guest referees, have them as managers, have them as backstage interviewers, have them as don't have them as actual competitors. So that has always bugged me. I don't care what the celebrity is, right? It could be Tom Hanks, the nicest man in the world. I would still feel the same. So Logan Paul, the fact he's a celebrity, he's stepping in the ring, it does bother me. Like, he is a celebrity, he's had training and whatnot, but it's still not really enough training to make me comfortable, to make me like it. But there is a difference with Logan Paul. Logan Paul has a good wrestling background because he did it at high school. So he's got this amateur wrestling background, which already gives him an advantage over, singers and people that don't have that. But more recently, he's obviously done a lot of boxing. So we've seen him in boxing fights with KSI, which is obviously very low level. That is, so-so. But what gets him a lot of credit with me is he had a boxing fight against Floyd Mayweather. So I actually watched that, and he did all right. You can tell, he was in incredible shape. He will have had a great camp. I feel like he is really working hard on his striking, on his boxing. So I actually feel that when it comes to someone like Logan Paul, yes, he's a celebrity, but he does have a little bit. I don't know how much, because I've only seen him have one proper, when it wasn't even a proper fight because it was an exhibition, but one boxing match against Floyd Mayweather. He has had fights against KSI, but as I said, that's so low level that I don't even know if you can count them. But he has got that wrestling background as well. So the thing with Logan is that he does have some fighting background, and to me personally, that's important. That's important. I want to be able to believe that when you step in that ring, you've got some skills, that you can do something. I don't care if you've been training for a few months leading up to SummerSlam. I don't care, because that is not enough. If you want me to be impressed that you've trained for 2 months for a match at SummerSlam, think again, right? Think again. Because if we're saying that that's good enough, jog on. Because I just think it's a massive slap in the face of pro wrestling. I've heard this when, again, I'm going to go back to Bad Bunny. I had people telling me that he'd been training behind the scenes for 2 to 3 months, getting ready for WrestleMania, and that was meant to impress me. That was meant to make me go, wow. 2 to 3 months, wow. Honestly, 2 to 3 months of training in pro wrestling. At that point, you're probably good enough to go, have a match on the indies. At that point, you're probably ready to wrestle your first match on the indie scene. You're not entitled to have a match at SummerSlam or have a match at WrestleMania and be taking on what is meant to be the best of the best. So it always sticks in the throat. So I don't care what the celebrity is. I don't even care if it's a celebrity that I really like and I personally really appreciate. I don't care. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if I hate you. I don't care. I don't even care if you're not a celebrity, if you're just an average person. I don't care. If you're stepping in there with minimal training, like a few months training, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I do think that it is disrespectful to wrestling. I really do. And I've always felt that way. And no one's ever changed my mind on that. And no one will ever change my mind on that. So, when it comes to Logan, I think that he has got enough of a fighting background to make me go, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. I can see why they're doing it, and I think that he's got a good size, and I think that he has got enough of a fighting background to make me buy into the fact that he would be competitive. So, long answer, but I wanted to explain it. Because I did put a tweet out saying that I thought it was a good signing by WWE. And that's why. Because I think he's got enough of a fighting background to make it all right. Logan Paul signed with WWE. Do you think he'll be at Money in the Bank? No. I think that he will potentially have a few matches. I think that he'll be restricted to largely big shows. I think he will be at SummerSlam. I could see him potentially being in a Royal Rumble. That's the other thing as well with these goddamn celebrities, is they only tend to, they ain't working house shows, are they? They're not there for the grind, yeah? They can run around saying they're pro wrestlers. Well, you're a pro wrestler if you're wrestling 4 or 5 times a week, yeah, on the road. with, like, you know, entertaining fans night after night after night, then you can call yourself a pro wrestler. Don't, again, disrespect wrestling by saying you're a pro wrestler because you have one match at SummerSlam. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand, actually, why this doesn't annoy more people. The more I'm talking about it, the more I'm getting annoyed right now that these fake jabronis come into wrestling, claim themselves to be wrestlers, when all they're doing is being pampered and having, like, matches at these big shows. That's it. Do you know what I mean? What? God, it's just so disrespectful. So disrespectful. So, it grates. It really is a bugbear of mine. Justin said, you should put somewhere on screen that it won't be on this channel. Okay. Yep, I can look to have a little thing at the bottom. We can do that. Thomas said, will UFC collide with SummerSlam? I believe it does, but I'm hoping that we can end up doing the same as what we're doing tomorrow, which is where we will have UFC on this channel, and we will have UFC on this channel, we will have the wrestling on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. So that's what I'm hoping, so that we can cater to all. Trying to please everyone. I was just about to try and add that little message. Let's read another comment first. Ray UK said, I'm more looking forward to Impact against all odds than I am Money in the Bank. Fair play. Dante said, did you hear that Paul Heyman will be a part of the creative team as per Mania sources, PW Mania sources? No, but that'll be good if he is. He's been in the creative department before, and he did a great job. He's someone that's so knowledgeable about wrestling. He does great really wherever he goes. If he kind of runs Raw, I mean, when he was running Raw, he was giving, like, the young talent a lot of opportunity. And I can't say that the shows were brilliant, but they were going in the right direction, and they were really giving that young talent a lot of opportunity and a lot of chances, and it was great to see. It was really great to see. So I think it would have got somewhere, but we just never got there. But he was doing some good work. And then in creative, you know, he was there during the brand split, I think, around Ruthless Aggression. I remember him telling the story about how he was booking the show, and he was on the phone, and he stayed on the phone. I think he was booking SmackDown, and he stayed on this conference call because as soon as they were done with SmackDown, they went to the Raw team, and he secretly stayed on the phone to hear what they were telling Raw, because it was really weird, but the brand split, when it first happened, it was like they tried to treat it as a proper, like, Raw versus SmackDown. They were trying to, like, see who could get the better ratings. I think there was a lot of talk internally about, Raw are beating you, you know. Raw had a better show this week. And so they tried to play the two brands off against each other. I think it was mainly because, you know, you'd had WWF against WCW, and that had gone. So now WWE was, like, trying to create its own internal war, and it was trying to do that instead. And Heyman, like, tells a few stories about how he like, stayed on the phone line to listen to hear what Raw was doing, so that he could kind of book a better show, and he could, like, it's crazy to think that they were doing all this stuff. They were trying to get one over each other. Like, the company was trying to, like, beat itself. So he's been in the creative department before, and he did a really good job. So that'd be good. That'd be good if he is going back there. Hazza said, Days, with Money in the Bank being tomorrow, I really hope WWE gives Seth his dues and gives him the briefcase, and then goes on to cash in at SummerSlam in the Reigns-Lesnar match to make it more historic. Thoughts? Yeah, there's absolutely potential for that. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind Seth doing that. I think a lot of people would like the Heist of the Century 2.0. I think that would be something people would be really passionate about, affectionate towards. I think that's something that would bring back some great memories. I think Seth's a credible person to have that moment and cash it in. Like, I'm totally fine with that. The only reason that I wouldn't go that way is we've already seen it. So, like, we've already seen the heist of the century. I personally don't have much desire to see it, like, done again. I don't mind it happening, but I could think of a few different ways I would rather go. Most notably Sammy. I would really love Sammy to get it. I think if Sammy got it and swore that he was never going to cash it in, but he ends up getting attacked and he does cash it in at some point next year, like, that could be a massive moment. And it could be huge for Sammy as well. The other thing is, like, Seth doesn't need it. Seth will always get a title opportunity. Seth will always be around the title. He's too big of a star, so he's kind of already in that main event scene. So, like, does he need it? Does he need that Money in the Bank? I feel like Sammy does. Will Sammy get a title opportunity? Probably not, because he hasn't been getting them. So it feels like he needs Money in the Bank, whereas Seth doesn't. So there's a few different reasons why I wouldn't go that way personally, but it's a good idea. I've no problems, like, if they did, and I could see it happening. Yeah, I could see it happening. Wrestling Jeebus, hello. Hope you're well, my friends. Hope you're excited for Money in the Bank. Have a great stream, Days. Hope you're doing well. Nice that you took time away from being recognised and mobbed on the street to hang out with us. Do you know what? Really appreciate that, dude, because I was thinking that exact same thing when I went live. I was like, this is, I think as time has gone by, this has become more like charity work. I really feel like I'm giving, like, to the wrestling community. And, like, at first, I kind of felt like I was a part of the wrestling community, whereas now I do feel like I am elevated above it, and now it's just great to kind of, like, give back and actually, do you know what I mean? Just, like, I completely agree. There's, like, a billion things that I could be doing on a Friday night, but being here with you folk is, I think, just, like, my version of charity work. So, no, it's honestly, at this moment in time, it's my pleasure to do that. I get such a warmth inside, such a warm feeling, and that really does see me through the weekend. So no, it's honestly my pleasure. It's great to see so many people excited for Money in the Bank, and I don't know, it's cool, isn't it, joking aside, to see that kind of energy as we go into a wrestling show, because this one genuinely does feel like there's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of optimism, a lot of good vibes going in towards Money in the Bank. I think this is a show that WWE has kind of needed because, like, I think going into Hell in a Cell, there was a lot of people saying that Hell in a Cell, there's only one Hell in a Cell, and it was kind of, you know, Roman wasn't on the show, wasn't at Hell in a Cell. I think people would have liked there to have been more than just the one Hell in a Cell match, which I didn't mind, but these were the conversations I was seeing people having as we were going into that show. I must admit, I'm not seeing any kind of criticism going into this show. I don't even think Roman not being on this show has been a barrier. I don't think Roman being there has been a problem. I can't say that I've seen people really, you know, that I can't say I've seen that conversation. It seems to be more like, who do you think's going to win? When are they going to cash it in? Like, it's those kind of standard things that people are really focused on. So, yeah, great energy. Great to see that kind of enthusiasm and optimism, and yeah. So, yeah, shout out to you, Wrestling Jeebus. Big friend of the channel. And check out, as I said, as always, his great Twitter account. I'm sure if you're on Twitter, I'm sure you know who he is. Big player, isn't he? Big player, just like me. Big player. Edward said, thoughts on my men's Money in the Bank people that are in my 2K game. I've got Seth, Montez, Wes, Riddle, Dominic, Rick Boogs, Umaga, and Ray. Yeah, fine, cool. I mean, like, Montez would be good in a going solo in, like, a ladder match, but I wouldn't put him in whilst he was in the Street Profits. I'm not a big fan of, like, not a big fan of doing that with tag teams. I think if you're in a tag team, like, you're a tag team, so you work together. And, like, separating them off and having, like, one person in a Money in the Bank match, I wouldn't do it. But if he ultimately goes solo, like, you know, he'll be a lot of fun in something like a Money in the Bank match. Like Wesley. I mean, Wesley's gone solo, and I understand he's doing some really great stuff down in NXT. Seth, yeah, no-brainer. Riddle, yeah. Dominic, I mean, it's great they're letting fans take part. I mean, I think that's really exciting. But he wouldn't be in mine. Rick Boogs, I really like Rick Boogs. I think he's got tons of potential. He's someone that I'm really high on. I think he's got charisma. I think that he's got a great look. I don't think we've found the gimmick yet that's going to get him to that next level. But I think that he's got tons and tons of potential. I'm really high on him. Umaga is a legend. I don't know how he would do. I don't know how he would do, like, in that field with all of those, because you've got Ray in there as well. It's a lot of high flyers, but what I like about having someone like Umaga in there is he brings something different. It's not just all... You could easily fill a Money in the Bank match with just high flyers, but you kind of want, like, you know, a bulldozer in there as well. You want a powerhouse in there, so Umaga definitely brings that. So, yeah, there's some people there I like, some people I would change. But I hope you're having fun. William said, big spoiler, I'm going to be in Money in the Bank and I'm going to be naked. Wow. You say big spoiler. It's not what I've heard. Average to disappointing spoiler, that's what I heard. Jordan said, do you think Seth will be a world champion again? Yes. I can't see us not having Seth as a world champion again. I think that he is someone that you can always turn to. He is someone that's always going to be in and around the main event title scene. This is why I'm not crazy about him, like, winning Money in the Bank, as I said, because I just think that he'll get there anyway. Money in the Bank, for me, is a great way of elevating a mid-card talent and taking them to that main event scene. So someone like Sammy would massively, massively benefit. Someone like Riddle, maybe, as well, who I know did get a title opportunity not that long ago, but before that, he wasn't really getting any. Obviously, his future looks very bright, but I feel that right now, it's not unfair to call Riddle, you know, I would say a mid-carder with tons of potential, like a mid-carder that's moving in the right direction. He's a mid-carder that's on the verge of breaking into that main event scene. But I wouldn't say he's quite there yet, because we just haven't been seeing it. It's not like we've seen him had loads of title opportunities. He's had, like, one against Roman, like, you know, not that long ago on SmackDown. So someone like Riddle carrying it, I think, would be great for his career. Someone like Sammy carrying it would be great for his career. Yeah, as I said earlier, I see the logic in Seth carrying it. But yeah, I do think he will be a champion again, yes. Who will be the last opponent in Money in the Bank? Oh, the last person to get added? Don't know, to be honest, because I can't remember. I don't really know what options we've got when we look at SmackDown. If we look at WWE Smackdown, look at the roster, and we'll see, it's off the top of my head, I remember the roster not being the strongest, and let's have a look. A few people have left. So we've got Angel Garza, don't think it'll be him. Big E is injured. Brock, I don't think it'll be him. Butch. Drew Gulak. Drew McIntyre's already in. Eric, nah. Gunther, nah. Happy Corbin? Could be Happy Corbin. I don't think he's in, is he? Like, I don't think Happy Corbin's in. He could get added. Umberto? No. Ivar? No. Usos? No. Jinder? I mean, I don't know what we're doing. It might be like a battle royal, a last chance battle royal type thing for whoever hasn't made it up from SmackDown. So, you know, it could be that we've got Ivar or Eric. Well, actually, I think they're taking on the New Day. So that might mean that New Day and Viking Raiders are definitely not going to be taking part in whatever this thing is. So in my mind, it could be a battle royal, or it could be a fatal 5-way, or a 6-pack challenge. Winner gets that final spot, and it might feature people like Happy Corbin. You could have people in there like Butch. You could have people in there like Mansoor. You could have Madcap Moss. You could have Ricochet. You could have Shanky. You could have Shinsuke. I don't think Shinsuke's qualified, has he? He could be in there. There's not loads of options, you know. I'm looking at the roster, and we're not drowning in great options here. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit tricky, but it might turn out to be someone like a Happy Corbin, a Madcap Moss, Jinder Mahal. Those would be the most obvious choices. So I don't know that it's going to be anyone that exciting, to be honest. Fans are flooding Twitter wanting Liv to win. Her wrestling peers want to see her win. Even Ariel Helwani is falling for it. Is it wishful thinking? I can't see Liv taking priority over Becky, says Dalmar. I would disagree that that's a unanimous thing. I think that she's got a large fan base on social media, a vocal fan base on social media, but it's certainly far from unanimous. So she's got her supporters, but make no mistake about it, Alexa's got her supporters as well. Asuka has got her supporters. I mean, I'm one of them. I would love to see Asuka win it. So I feel that she's got a chance, but I don't think that she is like... What's great about this year is that there's no one that is a dead cert. Like, you can't go into tomorrow going, yeah, it's going to be Alexa, and be 100% certain. You can't go into tomorrow saying, yeah, it's going to be Liv. Because Liv's got a great chance, but so has Alexa. So has Becky Lynch. Like, they've all got great chances. For me personally, I think if I was to put money on someone, I'd go with Alexa. I would go with Alexa because I think there's a great opportunity for them to make Lily dolls that come with a little money in the bank. And I think that where they can make more money, they will always look to do that. And the marketing of that, you know, Alexa's been out of the title picture for a long time. They're trying to reintroduce a new version of her. Her character could really do with that boost. And then add in the fact that she could sell a ton of Lily dolls that come with a little money in the bank briefcase. Think of everyone that's bought a Lily doll. Now think of all of them people potentially buying another one, because this time it comes with a little cute money in the bank briefcase. Oh. So I could see them capitalizing on that. I really could. So for me, I think like Alexa is my front runner, but I think that Liv is in my top 3 of people that could win it. So I don't think it's wishful thinking. I think that she stands a good chance. I mean, I would say that she has gone from being a girl that struggles to get used on TV to a girl now that's on TV very consistently and is used in decent angles. And, you know, not that long ago, she wouldn't even have qualified for Money in the Bank. She would have been one of those girls that lost the qualifier and wouldn't even have made the show. Now she's not only qualifying, but she's one of those girls that you could see winning it. She's one of those girls that you look at and go, she stands a chance of getting this. So, yeah, I think she's definitely in the running. Do you think that Edge would get his revenge? Would be a face at SummerSlam? Do you think Edge will get his revenge? Yes. Will he be a face at SummerSlam? Yes, he'll be a face. I'm sure they'll use him at SummerSlam. They're going to want as many big names as possible. Edge will be one of those. So, yeah, I expect him to be face. I expect him to be at SummerSlam. YouTube Boxing said KSI's fight was announced today. Yeah, I think he's taking on this Alex Wasabi, and I'm really interested in doing the watch-along for it. But I don't know what it's colliding with, what it's clashing with, and I also don't know who Alex Wasabi is, to be honest. it's a fight that, to be honest, I think is not gonna. I don't know how it's gonna do with the casual fan. I think if you're a KSI fan, or you're young, or you're an Alex Wasabi fan, then I think you will be into it. I think if you are someone like me that's not really into that world, don't really know any of these people, Alex Wasabi is not a name that resonates. I've heard of Logan Paul, I've heard of Jake Paul, I've heard of KSI, I've heard of Deji, I've heard of... well, I don't know, can't think of who else I've heard of. But I have never heard of this Alex Wasabi thing, So, I've heard of Ninja. He could box Ninja. I've heard of him. I've heard of Dr. Disrespect. He could fight him. But I've never heard of this Alex Wasabi. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it'll still do really well. It'll still play to his audience, and it'll do really well. But, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to grab the average person. Because it really comes across like, smack bang in YouTube boxing kind of territory. It's not like Jake Paul feels like he's definitely moved out of that now. He's taken on MMA fighters. He's taken on, trying to take on Tommy Fury. We don't know what's happening there. Kind of feels like he has kind of progressed into the real fighting world, if you will. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it does. The interest will be there. I'm not saying it won't, but I'm just saying it'll be from his audience. I don't know that it's going to get that kind of. I don't know that the average fight fan will be talking much about it. I don't think it's going to resonate with the UFC community in the way that Jake does, or the boxing community the way that Jake does. But in all fairness, I couldn't even tell you the last time KSI had a fight, so it's been a long time. So in a way, this is like a warm-up thing. And then after this, he might be able to go on and fight, some higher caliber kind of fighters. Butterstarch said, thank you for accommodating us small people. Not my words, but I agree. With your presence, your highness. This is better, Butterstarch. This is the level of respect that I demand, to be honest. So, yeah, I appreciate that. Love the idea of Sammy with the briefcase and him being chucked around by the bloodline. Turn him face and get it cashed in. Yeah, I do like that story. I in all fairness, any mid-carder, I mean, Sammy works because in a way, this story's been told for quite a while now. Sammy wanting to be respected, feeling like there's a conspiracy again. In fairness, if this does play off this way, this story will have been such a long story because you could even include the whole documentary thing. So Sammy feeling like he's being disrespected and that he's being held down and feeling like there's a conspiracy against him. And he had that documentary team following him around, documenting how he was being cheated and treated. And so, that turned into him then wanting to be respected, wanting to be a locker room leader, wanting to kind of, get that respect by joining the bloodline. So he joins the bloodline, or, sort of joins the bloodline as an honorary Us. And, it kind of morphs into that. And then, him getting the money in the bank so that no one can cash it in. And I would even book it where he's serious. He isn't cashing it in. He is actually a man of his words. He's not going to cash it in. But they're just so mean to him. They are bullies. They bully him and treat him bad and end up attacking him at some point, forgetting that he's got the money in the bank, or just not thinking that he's got the money in the bank. So he doesn't carry it around. You don't see it. It's never mentioned. And, he just leaves it at home. And they beat him up. They attack him. You could do this, next year. Have him around. But next year, he gets beaten up. They say they never respected him, never liked him, all that kind of stuff. Turn on him, and then boom, you've got a massive, massive baby face that everyone feels sorry for, and he just happens to have the briefcase. So good. And like that whole story, him wanting the respect, joining the bloodline, then being disrespected, but having the ability to do something in revenge. It's great. I do love that. But any mid-carder that can use Money in the Bank to get elevated, I'm right there. I'm right there to support. I really think that Money in the Bank is a great way of elevating mid-carders. It's better than Royal Rumble, because Royal Rumble, yes, you get a title shot, but it's at WrestleMania. So you can't really have a mid-carder winning the Royal Rumble because the prize is too big. Like, it sounds crazy because both get you a title opportunity, but one gets you a title opportunity anytime, anywhere, which means that they could cash in on a SmackDown, on a Raw, on a B show. It's you can actually like let that story play out on any show. And but the thing with the Royal Rumble is that it's got to be at WrestleMania and it's got to be in the main event. Like, it's such a big prize. You can't take a gamble, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, Otis won Money in the Bank. Otis was under consideration to win Royal Rumble because you're not going to have Otis main event in WrestleMania. You can take a chance on putting the Money in the Bank in him and then trying to build him and seeing if it works. And then if it doesn't work, you can always take it off him. But you can't really take the Money in the Bank thing, the Royal Rumble thing away. It has been done, but like you can't. There's not much time. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you win Royal Rumble at the end of January, WrestleMania's in March. A lot of the time, sometimes April, but sometimes in March. You've only got a very, very small window, to like try and build this person up. And if you had like Otis winning the Royal Rumble, you've got a very, very small window to build him up. And in that same time, you need to be building WrestleMania. So whoever wins Royal Rumble, you really need to know that's the person you go in with. You really need to know this is my person, because the window is so small to build to WrestleMania. Whereas with Money in the Bank, I mean, you've got 12 months and you can cash in any time. So this is why you can take more of a chance on someone. It's a much better way of elevating someone than the Royal Rumble is. So that's why I'm a lot more focused on it being someone that doesn't get those opportunities. In many ways, Liv makes perfect sense. Liv makes like a lot of sense, as much sense as Sammy, because Liv is someone that's that kind of mid-carder that has got tons of potential, that's heading in the right direction. She's getting on TV more. She's just been in that kind of anti-Judgment Day group with AJ and Finn. And, that was a great kind of little story for her to be a part of. That seems to have played its course now, run its course. So I don't know what the future holds for all of that. But she seems to be getting used more, and she seems to be heading in the right direction. But her winning Money in the Bank would be a big, big deal, because she has had one title opportunity at, like, day one, I think it was. She had a shot against Becky for the title. And other than that, she doesn't really get into that kind of main event scene. So this would be a way of elevating her to that main event scene and guaranteeing that she will get a hell of an opportunity. You know, it's more likely than not that she will win the title. And that is obviously a big, big deal for her. So I don't mind Liv winning it. I don't mind Liv winning it. It's I love to see mid-carders getting elevated, and I feel like Liv and Sammy would both really, really benefit. Someone like Alexa, I don't mind as well, because she has been away from that title for so long. I mean, we are talking a good couple of years now, if not longer. I mean, her last title reign could have been back in like 2019. It's been a long, long time. And there's no guarantee that she is going to get back there. There's no guarantee on that, because it still doesn't quite feel like we know what we're doing with her gimmick. Still doesn't feel like we quite know where we're heading. It feels like we want her to go back to being a bit more like the goddess, but we haven't really given her any stories to get her teeth into, and she's still walking around with Lily, so we've not abandoned, like, Lily or anything. So, yeah, it just feels like she's a bit lost. Feels like she's a bit directionless. Feels like we don't quite know what we're doing with her. And by putting Money in the Bank on her, she would have a direction. So, you know, it would really help Alexa. It would really help Liv. It would really help Sammy. And you could make that argument for quite a few people. So that's why if Becky gets it, I'm not going to be a big fan of that. Because for me, Becky doesn't need it. She just doesn't need it. Becky will get opportunities till the cows come home. Seth will get opportunities till the cows come home. Like, Seth is never going to struggle to get a title match. Becky is never going to struggle to get a title match. They just don't need Money in the Bank. So I think it would be really disappointing if it was Becky and Seth that won Money in the Bank. I would be a lot more excited if it was Sammy and Liv. I'd be a lot more excited. But Butterscotch, love your comment. Love the start. I think people need to learn some lessons about how you started your message there, and it'd be great to see more people approaching their messages the same way. So hope you're well, dudes. Appreciate the support as always. Appreciate everyone that's joining us. We've got about 15 minutes or so to go till we go over to SmackDown. Don't forget we got Rampage tonight as well. So we will be enjoying that together. Going Ghost said, hope you are well. Fun question. How many winners of the Royal Rumble have gone on to win the title at WrestleMania? No idea off the top of my head, to be honest, but, you know, if I was to slap a percentage on it, I would say, let's try and think, I would say, well, Hacksaw Jim Duggan won the first. He didn't win the title, but then that wasn't the prize back in the day. So, actually, I think I'm right in saying that, like, it wasn't until 92 that the Royal Rumble had that as a stipulation. So, in 92, Ric Flair wins the title, and because the Royal Rumble had a purpose and was for the actual belt, and they saw how that made the Rumble more important and how it made the Rumble feel like it was you can't miss it type thing, that's when they brought in the winner goes on to face the champ at WrestleMania rule. So 92 is the first year that we get something like that. So I don't know if you can count the ones before because that stipulation wasn't in play, but Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Big John Studd, they are the first two winners. They don't go on to win the title. Then you've got, I think, am I right in saying Hogan, 90, 91. 91, Hogan does go on to win the title. But, I mean, you're talking like and then in 92, you got Ric Flair winning it, but he wins the belt straight as it is. In 93, Yokozuna wins the title. He does go on to win it. Then you've got the Lex and Brett thing. He goes on to win it. I mean, we can go through like all the years, but honestly, even if I knew the answer like that of like how many people had won it out of how many Royal Rumbles, I still don't think I could tell you what the percentage was. Even if you actually give me the numbers. So I'll just go with a gut feeling of saying I reckon it's going to be around 65-70%. About 65-70%. It's far from guaranteed. I mean, it's not like cashing in Money in the Bank where you've got like crazy high odds. I mean, the cashing in Money in the Bank must be about 85% of people. 80 to 85% of people that cash in Money in the Bank succeeds. I reckon Royal Rumble winners is probably more down to like 65% because there's plenty of people that have won the Royal Rumble that have not gone on to win the title. So plenty of people. And as I said at the very start of the Royal Rumble, that wasn't even a rule. That rule didn't really come in until after 92 when Ric Flair won the title. Eric says, Cup of Joe on me. Appreciate the support, my friends. All week a wrestling marathon. Eric, I hope you're doing well. Hope your family's doing well. Really appreciate the support. I hope you're excited for Money in the Bank. Miss Clown said, always check you haven't followed through. It's really great advice from Miss Clown 1. Hope you're doing well. Brenton said, sorry I'm late. Internationally recognised superstar business. I understand, dude. You don't, Brenton, you don't need to tell me. I completely understand. So, and actually, Brenton, never apologise. Lesson 1, if you are internationally recognised like we are, never apologise. I'm sure you understand. Hope you're all well. Cynthia said, I was talking about The Boys to that young kid earlier. He seemed nice. The Boys is a show, isn't it? I've had people mention that before, that it's a TV show. I haven't seen it, but I've heard good stuff about it. Are we going to see Roman and Brock tonight? Don't think so, no. I don't think so, because we are building to Money in the Bank. If you have Roman and Brock on the show, it's a slight distraction. I feel like they did it a few weeks ago, really so they can get the graphics out there and everyone knows where we're going, what we're doing. But I think tonight is about Money in the Bank. It's all about tomorrow. It's all about getting the focus on that, getting people to tune into that show. The purpose of tonight's show is literally 2 hours of, there's a big pay-per-view tomorrow from Las Vegas. Please watch it. It's on Peacock. Yeah. So that'll be the focus tonight. So I don't think they'll give a segment over to Roman and Brock. They could do. I'm not expecting it. I think all of that will come, next week. From next week when we really are starting to build towards SummerSlam. KSI versus Alex Wasabi is on August 27th. I don't think it's going to clash. Can you cover it? I don't ask for much. It's one that I would look at. I would look at depending on like what else was on. If we're saying there is nothing else on, say it's a Saturday and it happens to fall on the night where there's nothing else on and there's no UFC and people are interested in it, then yeah, I've got no problems doing that. My only concern is that if it clashes with, something from UFC or whatever, I mean, that's always going to be a focus for us because we've got such a vibrant not only pro wrestling community, but we've got a really great UFC community that's kind of been built up over years and years and years as well. So it's on my radar, let's put it that way. It's on my radar. Jim, hello, buds. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good day. Jim said, how do you feel about athletes who have never wrestled going to the Performance Center, getting a few months training before joining the NXT roster? I don't mind it because NXT to me is developmental. So that whole kind of next in line nil program, which we're seeing Triple H run, they are getting onto NXT TV, but all the time that they're on NXT, they're doing a lot of intensive work at the Performance Center. So these people that come in, they'll come in at first and they'll, I feel like NXT is part of their development. So they will come in and they will, for a few months, do training, right? They'll do house shows. They'll do training. They'll do getting themselves to a level, to a standard, right? Then once they're at the point where they feel that they can start to introduce the character on NXT, they will then start giving them little backstage promos. They'll start giving them vignettes. They'll start promoting them that way. Then when they actually bring them onto TV, they might have them doing promo, kind of, they might have them in a tag match. They might even try them in a little singles match if they've reached a certain level. Honestly, by the time we're getting to that point, they have probably already been in the system for, 3, 4, 5, 6 months. That's a process. I mean, it's a different length of time for everyone. But by the time they're actually even hitting NXT and getting to their first NXT match, they have already had extensive training every day in the Performance Center, and then got to, their first match. And that first match is their first match on NXT. I mean, NXT, yes, is on network TV, and you could absolutely make the argument that, they shouldn't be debuting on network TV, but that is just more circumstance. Really, NXT should be a third brand. I mean, it's on TV, and it should be the best of the developmental people. It shouldn't really be, in my opinion, where you are bringing new faces out that are, are they ready? Are they not ready? You could get away with that when NXT was just on the network. You can't really get away with it when it's on network TV trying to attract viewers. And actually, that has been a bit of a challenge for NXT because there have been a lot of matches where people are green and you can tell they're green and you can tell that it's too soon for them. And, that is a problem. It is a problem. And that's why NXT kind of feels like it needs an NXT. Like, it needs a place for those people to go and develop and learn and train, but it doesn't have that, and so NXT is still that. So if you're in NXT, you do take someone like Cora Jade, for example. I mean, Cora Jade, to me, is super green. She's super green. She's super not ready for the main roster. I don't know what she's like now. I mean, I haven't been watching for months and months and months, but when I was watching, she was super green. She, they were trying to work on her character work. And I think by having her on TV and having her on the shows, she could come out, she could learn how to interact with an audience. She could learn how to wrestle with where the hard cam is. And she could work on her entrance. They could look at the graphics. They could see what the whole piece looks like together. So it's a really, really interesting question. But for me, NXT's developmental. You sort of have to remind yourself of that this isn't the main roster. It's not Raw. It's not SmackDown. It certainly isn't SummerSlam or WrestleMania. It's NXT. It's meant to be a place where they're learning, developing, evolving. Dare I say, where they're making mistakes. Dare I say do you know what I mean? If you watch NXT and point out a load of botches, it's sort of what NXT is there to iron out. Like, you sort of should expect botches with NXT because a lot of these people are super green, super raw, and are learning how to wrestle. It'd be like sticking cameras in a wrestling school. Do you know what I mean? It'd be like watching the Nightmare Factory and then going, he just botched. Well, yeah, of course he did. He's flipping learning. And that's what a lot of people in NXT are doing as well. So, yeah, my feelings on it are NXT is NXT. It's developmental. It's all part of the process. It's part of their learning. I think you treat them different once they go to the main roster. Because once they go to the main roster, that is basically WWE saying this person is ready. This person is ready to be seen by the world. And so when they go to the main roster, that's when, they should have everything figured out. Right, we are going live. Darcy said, have you seen the latest episode of Stranger Things? I've not seen any episode of Stranger Things. One of the character reps an old school Hogan shirt, and it looked very cool. Right, we've got ladders inside the ring. We've got all the wrestlers standing on top of the ladders. Always looks weird, this does, as a way to start the show, look. Shoving everyone on tops of ladders. They've done this before. And I don't know why Amos isn't up there, to be honest. But we've got Seth, Sheamus, Sammy, Riddle, Drew, all on tops of ladders. We got Amos standing in the ring. He is not going up that ladder. Perhaps he's scared of heights. Which is quite ironic, considering how tall he is. So, right, Money in the Bank promo. This is how we're starting the show tonight. We've got all the guys in the ring. So, we've got the 6 guys that are in there. We've got 1 mystery position still to fill. I haven't mentioned how we're going to do that yet. But we should be getting that answer tonight. I think Cena's 20th anniversary show was done on purpose because Forbidden Door was the night before. Coincidence? I believe. Right, here we go. Seth kicking off the show, welcoming us to Friday Night Smackdown. Here we go. Eric said, Stranger Things spoilers. Things are still strange. Spoiler, everyone, spoiler. Okay. Seth says, I think I speak for everyone here. And Drew says, whoa, you don't speak for Drew McIntyre. Whoever wins. We can all agree the best place to cash in is going to be SummerSlam. So they're really planting the seeds for SummerSlam, and that being where the cash in is going to happen. And I do agree that's where the cash in will take place, or at least they will attempt it. But I could see there being a swerve. NXT is a Monday OVW. Yeah, very much so, yes. Very much so. Riddle said he's rooting for Roman to win. So Riddle wants Roman to win so that he can specifically cash in on him. The honorary Sammy Zayn is in this match. It is. I feel uncomfortable with them on those ladders. I wish they weren't. The Money in the Bank contract is going to stay in-house with the Bloodline, says Sammy. Sammy in his Bloodline shirt. So we got Drew, we got Riddle, we got Sammy, Seth, Sheamus, all on top of ladders. Amos and MVP standing in the ring. The honorary Usos. Bart Simpson says, yo, resting days. My oldest brother lives down in Phoenix, Arizona. Went to Smackdown today. I live 30 minutes away from the town. Very cool. Well, hopefully he gets to see a really fun show. Hopefully this is going to be one to remember. I mean, I would say this start is one to remember. With everyone up ladders just looking a bit awkward. Why doesn't Amos just push all these flipping ladders over? If I'm Amos right now, I'm knocking all of them ladders over. Why not injure everyone the day before a big Money in the Bank match? Okay, Sheamus. Okay, so they're all talking about who they want to win out of Roman and Brock, because they're all in agreement that is the moment to cash in the Money in the Bank. So it's kind of interesting by WWE that they're spending so long in kind of telling you when these people are planning on cashing in, because they're doing that on purpose so that it makes SummerSlam unmissable. SummerSlam will be not only Roman versus Brock, but they are going to make sure you know that the person with the Money in the Bank briefcase is targeting that and wants to cash in there, so that you know anything could happen. Who leaves SummerSlam as champ? Will it be Roman? Will it be Brock? Or will it be the Money in the Bank cash-in person? It's just another way of making SummerSlam even bigger. And they're planting those seeds now. Miz has made his way out. He wants in this match. Ezekiel has made his way out. Spoiler alert, Aleister Black is going to win Money in the Bank, says Miguel. Was Cena's anniversary show on Raw done right after Forbidden Door on purpose or pure coincidence, in your opinion? I would have to know exactly when he made his debut. I don't know the date, but if it is the Raw that's closest to that, then I would say coincidence. If his actual anniversary was like 3 weeks ago, then you could absolutely say, well, maybe it was done that way so that they could overshadow Forbidden Door a bit. But if it just happened to be the case that Raw was the Raw that was the one that was closest to his debut, then anniversary, then no, I'd say it was a coincidence. Corbin has made his way down. Madcap Moss has made his way down. Madcap, Corbin, Miz. I wish I could go there in Phoenix, but I prefer watching on TV, says Miguel. We all might have thought we was getting Rhodes or Cena as a surprise, but we may be getting a Jobber or The Miz or Ezekiel. Yeah, it'll be one of these, won't it? Here's Adam Pearce. Oh, this is really interesting. Oh. It is a battle royal. Adam Pearce said, we're going to have ourselves a good old battle royal, and it starts right now. But what he actually said was, I think he said, let's have a taster for tomorrow night. And as soon as he said, let's have a taster for like tomorrow night, I thought he was going to say, let's do a ladder match. And the person that grabs like whatever's hanging above the ring gets the final spot. I thought he was just about to announce we were getting a ladder match, but not the contract. But if you actually grabbed whatever's up there, a clipboard with a contract on it, you get the final spot. I thought he was going to say something like that for a moment, because he said, let's have a taster for tomorrow. I don't know how a battle royal is a taster for tomorrow, but either way, it's gone the way that we thought it would. There is a battle royal, and this will be how we fill that final position. We want Gulak. Anyone? Says Lone Star Friend. Anyone? Amos is going to win. Amos is already in. Oh, do you mean he's going to win the Money in the Bank? I don't know, man. He feels really green. Even if he gets it and he has 12 months of, more experience, I don't know. I mean, he is a monster. He is, I do like the nickname, the Nigerian Giant. I do appreciate that. The Nigerian Giant Amos. I think it's cool. But, just, man, when the bell rings, it's not the most engaging. Hello, Days. I might have missed your thoughts on Logan. What are your thoughts? Will he be overexposed or a part-time here and there? He'll be part-time. Yeah, I gave my thoughts. It was right at the start. So you can shoot back in the stream and should be able to go through it. We went quite depth. I won't go through it again. But my thoughts are, I think it's a good signing. I think that he's got a fighting background, and I think that he's got enough credibility whereby it doesn't make me want to throw up. But other than that, celebrities in wrestling is something that bugs me. But it's, as I say, I think he's got enough credibility. Cena's debut was June 27th. I still think there's stealing a bit of AEW's thunder. See Money in the Bank promo outside of Double or Nothing. I don't know if it's the closest show to the one that was on his debut, then I would say I would go coincidence. But if it's like they've moved it a few weeks out, it could always be a case that that's when John Cena was free and they've just had to book it for that. But I would say it becomes more likely that it was something to do with Forbidden Door, but I don't know. Listen, going into Forbidden Door, those ratings weren't that great. Although, I'm sure if they wanted John Cena, they probably had to book it a long time ago. In all fairness, they might even have had to have booked John Cena before Forbidden Door was even announced. Before they even knew about Forbidden Door. John Cena's schedule and window of opportunity might have been, they might have booked this last year. Might have been that when they had him at SummerSlam, they were like, next year's your 20-year kind of thing. So, I don't know. I must admit, I'm leaning more towards it being coincidence. But my mind would be changed if it was, a good few weeks out. Right, we are underway. Amos? Why is Amos in that? What? I don't understand what's happening. Why are the people that are in the Money in the Bank in the Battle Royal? I don't understand. I don't know what we're doing. Why have we got the people that have already qualified in the Money in the Bank? I don't understand. I don't know what we're doing. I feel like we've made this more complicated than we need to make this. We've put people that have already qualified in this Battle Royal. And Michael Cole just said, if they can win it, they'll have great momentum going into... It makes no flipping difference whatsoever. They'll have great momentum. If they win this Battle Royal, they'll have great momentum going into tomorrow's Money in the Bank event. It makes no difference. If you win a Battle Royal on Friday, it ain't open, you win a ladder match on Saturday. Bit crazy. Maybe if one of the qualifiers win, there'll be no mystery opponent, question mark. Well, that would have been a good stipulation. I can't say that I've heard them say that, but that would at least give them something to fight for. So, yes, I agree. But I don't know that that's the case. Ezekiel has gone over the top. Riddle is hanging on at the moment. Miz in the corner is being chopped on, and big strikes coming in. Why would they compete the day before? We've seen that loads of times, though. We've seen it loads of times where people have had like matches on SmackDown, and then they still have to go to the pay-per-view and have a match. I always hate it. I have no idea why they have them compete. I mean, like, anyone could pick up an injury as well, and then boom, that's your flipping pay-per-view ruined. Okay, so who are we down to? We've got Riddle, we've got Amos. I feel like we've just got everyone that's in the match, along with Corbin as well. Corbin is in the corner. He's slumped down in the corner. Does that mean that Corbin's winning this? Because everyone else is already in it. My pick to win this Battle Royal is going to be Baron Corbin. Because everyone else in the ring right now has already qualified. I'm hoping that the one person that qualifies wins this, because I'll be mad if that happens. Did you see that Salah is staying? I did. Yes, I did. Wouldn't you want to get eliminated if you're already in the match so you don't get beat up before tomorrow? That's a really good point, Justin. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as the bell rung, I'd be like, do you know what? Forget momentum. I'd be straight over that top rope. I'd be walking out back. Yeah, I completely agree. Why the flip would you want to put yourself through this? Completely agree. I mean, right now, look, you've got Amos beating people up. You got Riddle slumped in the corner. You got Sheamus down. This is rubbish booking. Yeah, this is rubbish booking. This is designed so that if you don't watch wrestling, here's everyone that's in that match tomorrow competing. Yep, Seth straight over the top, eliminates himself. Good. Seth eliminates himself. Doesn't want anything to do with Amos. That's right. I'm not that stupid, says Seth. RKO. Still a little bit stupid because you could have done that right at the start of the match, couldn't you, mate? I mean, fair play. Amos has grabbed Riddle. Riddle has got an armbar on Amos. Sheamus and Drew eliminate Amos. Okay. Seth is the smartest. Have you got any early Royal Rumble picks for men and women? I feel like Cody is going to be everyone's pick. And it really depends on who's got the belts for the women, because I could see those belts changing hands before we get to WrestleMania. So, I mean, who knows? Bianca could win it. Becky could win it. I mean, Becky-Bianca would feel like the match they want for... Becky-Ronda feels like the match they want for WrestleMania next year. So, I don't know if Becky wins it and Ronda's champion. So, right now, if I was to put money on it, I'd say Becky and Cody. Becky and Cody. Becky goes on to face Ronda. Cody goes on to, fight for the title. I'd go with that. But things can obviously change. It's a standard thing with Battle Royals for contestants to lay there until the next spot. Kevin Nash basically called Battle Royals useless. And it's a good way to just tear up your knee, says Brenton. Evan said, I agree, Cody is going to win the Royal Rumble. Bachelor Experience said, Royal Rumble, that's like 7 months away. The booking is almost as smart as Sheamus and Drew teaming up last week, says Justin. Dizer said, you've been pretty vocal about wanting Sammy to win the briefcase, but who do you think realistically has got the best shot of winning it if you had to bet everything on one pick? Seth. I think Seth's got the best chance of winning it because I can completely agree with everyone. Heist of the century, Seth having it. I also think that Seth is the person that took Cody out. When Cody comes back, he's going to be, going for that title. The other thing as well is that I think that they've probably had Cody go in for the belt at WrestleMania, or being a part of that title match at WrestleMania in mind for quite a while. In fact, not only is it in mind, there's every chance it's in his contract. Because the one thing that Cody, when Cody came over from AEW, the ball was in Cody's court. Like, they desperately wanted to give a little slap to AEW by taking one of their biggest stars. That, like, Cody didn't have to leave AEW, but he chose to because he got offered a really good offer by WWE. And he, I'm sure, negotiated in his contract a few things that he would want. And one of those things, I'm sure, was that he wants a run with the belt. I'm sure that was something that... Because don't forget, this is the same guy that had to be Stardust. And I'm sure he did not want to go down those roads. So I know that he said, actually, the one thing... He said on the bump, the one thing that he asked for was that he didn't have to revisit the Stardust character. He said that's the one thing that he asked for. Believe that if you want. I can't believe there was not a conversation about him having the belt at any point. I cannot believe that was not brought up. So I think that even if it's not in his contract, I'm 100% certain that it was discussed. So I think that he will go after the title. It makes sense because he's got unfinished business with Seth, that Seth's, going to be around the belt. You could absolutely use Money in the Bank to do that. Heist of the Century 2.0. Everything everyone says. All makes perfect sense. So I would say Seth is the favourite. But as I said before, it's not the direction that I would go. But we'll see. We've not got long to find out what direction they're going to go. Not got long at all. Do you think we could get Rock Roman at Mania next year? Yes. Yes, I do. Jilly said, I agree. When Cody comes back, Seth will be the champ and set up their feuds. These adverts are finishing quite fast. Well, we are back, yes. We're already just over 20 minutes into this show, you know. It's going so quickly. 20 minutes almost gone already. We've got Sheamus, Riddle, Corbin, Sammy, Drew. I mean, what are they going to do if Corbin gets eliminated? If Corbin gets eliminated, we are literally just left with people that are in the match, which is why I'm feeling like Corbin's probably the one that's going to win this. Big chop coming in by Drew. He grabs Sammy, hurls him over to the corner. How much would you pay for Andre the Giant's pants? What, his actual ring gear or his pants? An actual Andre Trunks in a frame. I couldn't even tell you how much that would go for. I reckon that they would be 20 grand. 20 grand. Maybe more. I could see it being around that. I would be expecting around that about 20 grand, 15 to 20 kind of range. Maybe they would go for more. I really don't know. But judging that on some of the prices I saw on that Most Wanted show, the WWE one, where they tried to find some of the kind of lost treasures that were out there, and some of those prices were actually lower than I was expecting. But gotta think, you know, Andre the Giant trunks. They're going to be pretty special. I don't even know how many there are. I have no idea. I mean, that would be depending how many there are. If he wore a different pair of trunks every time he wrestled, and there's flipping thousands out there, then obviously that lessens the value. But if he only ever had, you know, several pairs that he just kept wearing and washing and changing and kept rotating, and there's only several out there, I mean, that obviously ups the value, doesn't it? But as a guess, and it's nothing more than a guess, I would say 15 to 20,000. Let's just say the Cena thing was a coincidence. Surely SmackDown having a lead off Battle Royal, knowing Rampage starts with one after Blood and Guts, has got to be on purpose. No, I really don't think they're looking at AEW in that way. I think that I think the reason why you get a Battle Royal is because we do have a spot to fill. We had a Battle Royal on Raw. So there was a Battle Royal on Raw where we had to fill a position. I said going into this SmackDown, I thought that we would do a Battle Royal to fill this final spot. I really don't think it's got anything to do with AEW. I think the reason why the people in Money in the Bank are in it is for two reasons. One, we haven't got loads of stars to fill out a Battle Royal. There's not like enough people to kind of fill the numbers. But I think more than that, I think they want to show everyone that's in Money in the Bank, so that if you haven't been watching and you're like a casual fan and you're going to tune in tomorrow, you've seen everyone. You know who everyone is. You know the good guys, the bad guys. You know kind of who's fighting for what. And it just gives you like a good idea of, you know. So they are very good at that, WWE. It sort of sucks if you are a fan that watches every week. But if you are someone that watches, you know, once in a while, you can get into the stories very easily. If you, even if you didn't watch wrestling, right, and you never watched, and this was the first show that you was watching, it's super accessible. You know that there is an event tomorrow that's going to involve ladders. You know everyone that's in it. You're learning a bit about everyone that's in it as well, because they've spent the first half an hour of the show kind of showcasing everyone that's in it. And that's why they do it. That is why they're in this Battle Royal. That is why they're out there. That is why all these people are fighting. Does it make sense that they're all fighting the night before a pay-per-view? No. It doesn't, does it? It doesn't make sense. But it's not for that purpose. They have to disguise it as being momentum. But what it actually is is a way of showcasing everyone that's in that match to people that don't know them. WWE caters to the casual fan, like, I would say a bit too much, excessively. But I suppose in a way you really do have to take that into consideration. You really, really do, because people are tuning into WWE for the first time every week. I mean, like, every week some kid, someone somewhere is tuning in and watching wrestling for the first time. So they've got to find a way in. There's got to be a way that they can pick up the story. It's a bit like where you've got, say, like Breaking Bad. If you try to watch Breaking Bad in season 5, episode 7, good luck. Do you know what I mean? There's been so much that's come before. Like, trying to get into that show at that point would be nigh on impossible, wouldn't it? So, you'd be missing out on a load of stuff. There'd be a load of spoilers. You'd really be ruining it for yourself. You really need to go back to the start. Well, you can't go back to the start of SmackDown. So they have to find ways of making it accessible. Baron Corbin has won the Battle Royal. Drew has spilled to the outside along with Sheamus, and Baron Corbin, who saw that coming, wins this Battle Royal. MKMCD said, I think Cody will return and win the Rumble, and I think Becky will win Money in the Bank and unsuccessfully cash in on Ronda, which will lead into their match at Mania, and Shotzi and Raquel will win the Rumble. Stone said, that is something that I noticed last week after Forbidden Door. They go from match to match and they don't have recap videos, whilst WWE treats every fan like they've got no clue what's going on. Yeah. It's true. If you are someone that watches every week, it's very frustrating. Bakayuka said, it's nice Rhea T there. Oh, yeah. Your nightwear is my brutality. It is a nice shirt, isn't it? Oh, is it reality or reality? I don't even know what it says. Your nightmare is my reality. Pretty anticlimactic, says Base Radio. Hayden said Austin would be so happy to see his favourites win the Battle Royal. Coming up next, we've got Natalya. Corbin celebrating. Do you think Glastonbury last weekend was coincidental, or was it on purpose because of Forbidden Door? It was on purpose. That was on purpose. Totes on purpose. You're telling me that they decided to have Paul McCartney play at Glastonbury on the same day as Forbidden Door? No. He is in the pocket of Vince McMahon. He might even be the paralegal that got paid $3 million. Do you think Drew wins the title at Clash? I think he's got a good chance, but I certainly can't say. I would say that he's got I say 60-40 no. I don't like going 50-50. What's the point? What's the point in going 50-50? What's the point in saying that? So I'll go 60-40 no. I think that Roman is a very dominant champion. That's an understatement. I think whoever beats him is going to have a big moment. And I think that it could be Drew. I think he's got as good a chance as anyone to beat Roman. And it happening at Clash at the Castle. It's such a big special event that could absolutely be the place that it ends. Yes, it could. I think there's a very good chance of it, but I'm going to lean more towards no, because I also think there's a really good chance that this title reign will continue past Clash at the Castle. And I think that if I have to go in a direction and say which is more likely, I think it's more likely that the title reign continues. Cheetah, hello, my friend. Appreciate the support. I missed the toy hunts. Will you do more? Do you have the figure collection? So I actually did one last week. So there was a toy hunt that was done last week. It's I don't think it got sent out to everyone. I actually had quite a few people hitting me up saying that, and I've had quite a few people saying that as well. Like, when's the next toy hunt? And I was like, last week. So I don't know what happened with it. But it's up, and it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. So yeah, I mean, look, toy hunts are still a part of the channel. Are they something that I'm looking to do like every month? Not really, to be honest. I enjoy doing them, and they will still be a part of the channel, but it'll be a handful every year. Figures, I've still got, yes. I've still got figures, and I am looking to bring more figure videos onto the channel. That is something, actually, that I'm looking to do over the summer, because I sort of feel like with kids being off, it makes a lot more sense to be bringing figure videos onto the channel. I sort of feel like watch-alongs are all year round, but like figure videos, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just overthinking it, but whilst kids are like at school and stuff like that, it kind of feels like maybe that's not the right time to be doing figure videos. But like big summer months where kids are out, you know, maybe they get a bit of money so that they can, you know, buy a few toys to enjoy over the summer. And like certainly where they're looking for things to watch and, you know, kind of engage with, as they've got a bit of extra free time, then it kind of makes sense to do some figure videos. So yeah, we'll see what the next few months bring, but definitely looking to do some. And there'll almost certainly be another toy hunt over the summer also. So yes, still a part of the channel. Even my grandfather who watched asked me, was there Battle Royal last week? Even to a routine watcher like him, it has gotten a bit repetitive over time, says Brenton. We are backstage with Kayla and Corbin. Corbin is happy. Wow. He is so happy. He is farting rainbows. Corbin said it was great seeing all the pathetic looks on people's faces when I looked out in the audience after I had won. With the advertised 6-woman tag on SmackDown, is it worth keeping an eye on who wins for their team and who stands tall? Because usually that indicates said person isn't going to win at the pay-per-view. That's a really good point, actually. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is worth looking at that. Normally, whoever has got a bit of momentum, whoever wins on the go home probably isn't going to be winning at the pay-per-view. That rule is not 100%. So it's a little indicator that if you stand tall on the go home, you're probably not winning at the show. But it's nothing more than a little interesting little side note. Because as I said, we've seen plenty of people winning on go homes that then do win at the pay-per-view. So I'd love to know that percentage, actually. And we'll never know because, God, the amount of work that would take would be insane. But I'd love to know the percentage. What percentage of people that have won their match on the go-home show then go on to win at the pay-per-view? I bet it's low. It won't be 0, but I bet it's low. It feels like we haven't changed the look at the belts in a while. Do you think they'll change them soon? Maybe if Cody wins the big one. If Cody wins the big one, I think there's a chance that he could request like a custom title. I don't know if they would honor that request. We've spoke about the belts. The belts design is because, again, we're catering to the flipping casual fan. The WWE catering to casual fans is all over everything they do. So, you know, that whole Battle Royal that we just watched was for casual fans. The video package that I'm watching now is for casual fans. The design of the belts is for casual fans. It's for casual fans because it's got the flipping WWE logo smack bang in the middle, big, bold. You see it. You've got no doubts as to what company that belt represents. And so if you see a wrestler and you don't know who that wrestler is, and you don't even know that they're a wrestler, there could be a boxer, there could be a kickboxer, they could be whatever, right? They've got a belt. If it's got the flipping WWE logo on it, well, they're clearly a WWE wrestler, aren't they? So, you know, they're clearly a champion in WWE. And also, like, they like to give these belts to teams. So, you know, when you get, like, I don't know, the Avalanche winning the other week. I don't know if they did get one, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did get given a title belt with the WWE logo. And you've seen them on, like, the open top bus parades where they've got, like, the WWE Championship and they're on the open top bus. So, you know, it's all free marketing. If you had it as, like, the Winged Eagle, then the average fan would look at that belt and not have a clue what it represents. It wouldn't mean anything. Like, they would look at it and just be like, don't know what that is. Whereas if you've got a belt with the big logo on it, it's just free marketing, free advertising. So, for that reason, I just don't think these belts are going to change anytime soon. And for that reason, if Cody says, can I change the belt? I don't know if it's going to be, I don't know if it'll be granted. But for a short time, they might allow it. If his title reign is going to be for a few months and they want him to feel like a real champ and for it to feel prestigious, they might honor it. They might allow it. They did have The Fiend kind of walk around with a special because it fit his character. But as soon as he dropped the belt, it went back to the old design. We're backstage with Natalya. What figures did you get for tomorrow? What figures did I get for tomorrow? Oh, I didn't get any. I didn't get a chance to go. We're backstage with Natalya. She's obviously building towards her match with Ronda. I know the sharpshooter I put on hurt her, and I know she's not 100%. She can make fun of me. I'm going to take Ronda down, and I'm going to make her tap out. The only thing that Ronda's going to be left holding is her 10-month-old baby. Right, here's New Day. New Day making their way out. We got New Day taking on the Viking Raiders. That's going to be our next match. It's a New Day. Yes, it is. New Day versus Viking Raiders. Here's Kofi and Xavier. Obviously, no sign of Big E still, who's out injured. Don't know when he's coming back, but really good news on that front. We did see Big E, a video clip of him, not too long ago, where he was showing off that he can move his neck now. So, it looks like he's well on the road to recovery. I wasn't into the feud at first, but Natalya has made me a believer. I hope she wins, says Darcy. Cheetah said, if there was a 5 versus 5 AEW WWE match with their best stars, Roman, Marks, etc., who would you say win and what would the build be like? So, I mean, the match would be obviously a fun match. It would be a match that people would be really engaged with, but it's a hard question to answer because if it takes place in AEW, you know, I think there's a chance that Tony, as a goodwill gesture, would allow WWE to win as a goodwill gesture. Because I think Tony would want that relationship. If he's got to the point, if Tony has got to the point where he's actually got WWE superstars coming onto his show, and he's got a working relationship with Vince, and there's potential for this to grow, he is not going to throw that away by having something as petty as the AEW stars go over. Like, if Vince turned around, and it would never happen, right? So let's stress this. It would never happen. But if Vince was to turn around and say, yeah, look, we can do that match, and we'll do it on Dynamite, I mean, it would just never happen. But I really think, and he said, I want my guys to go over, though. That would not be a barrier for Tony Khan. Tony Khan would not allow that to prevent him from it. He's not going to turn around and say, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. He would do that match because he would want that relationship to go further. And not only that, the boost of having, like people come on and they can, he can find a way of losing that match and saving face. Do you know what I mean? You could have, say, MJF on the AEW team, and at the start of the match, MJF walks away. So that means for the whole match, they were one person down. And, you could lose valiantly. So if that match was to happen, if it was on WWE TV, WWE would win. If it was on AEW TV, WWE would win. I'm pretty sure about it. I really don't think Tony Khan would be petty, enough to not have the AEW team lose, because he would want it to go further. He'd want it to go long term. He'd want that working relationship. The reward could be phenomenal, greater than worrying about AEW losing one match. And as I said, they'd probably lose it in a way where it could be explained. And it could be like, if MJF hadn't walked away, we would have done it. And they, battle in performance against the odds, trying to hang on. You've got Darby Allin in there just, desperately trying to grind out a win. But he's always on the back foot and, eventually he loses. It's just too great of a mountain to climb. So I could see it going somewhere like that. But I cannot stress it enough. It will not happen. It will not happen. Vince is focused on WWE and him being, and his company being the absolute best and being seen as the best. And working with AEW would elevate them and would do nothing for WWE. It would do nothing. Because AEW's fan base is about, 900,000? And, a good chunk of them do watch WWE. They might not admit it, but a good chunk of them do watch WWE. So there's not really much to be gained for WWE. But what they could do is actually introduce AEW to a load of their fans. And so AEW would massively benefit. So it'd be a great benefit to AEW, be a limited benefit to WWE. And this is why Vince just doesn't work with people. There's nothing in it for him. He doesn't gain from it. Doing a show that's going to excite the internet wrestling fan base is of no interest to Vince whatsoever. We've just said Vince is constantly looking for new people that don't watch wrestling. That is why the shows are constantly recaps and all this kind of stuff, because he's constantly trying to get the casual viewers. He does not care about the internet wrestling community. Does not care about them at all. And him putting on a show that everyone's going to go crazy over, like WWE versus AEW, is of zero interest to him whatsoever. As you all already know. Cheetah said, I don't watch AEW, but I've seen something on TikTok that MJF might be joining. Is that true? Did he walk out of AEW? He did walk out of AEW, but we believe it to just be a story. So, he's under contract. He's under contract with AEW till 2024. So, he can't go to WWE until 2024, unless he gets let out of his contract. But, don't know. There's no sign of that happening. So, no. To answer your question, I am not expecting MJF in WWE anytime soon. Okay. New Day are in the ring. We are the guys that try to give you a good time. Everyone last week wanted to see a sky-scraping human dance machine, and so we gave you Shanky. We were having a good time until those Viking Raiders attacked. Happy Canada Day. Happy Canada Day to people that are in Canada. Brenton said, Natalya's rack, Mrs. Balls. What the heck is going on in WWE? I was, but things that guy looks like Eric from Boy Meets World, says Cynthia. My milkshake brings everyone to the yard, says Miss Clown. I have heard that. Who have you got winning tomorrow, Volkanovski or Max? I am going Max. I think it was super close in that second fight. Do you know what? If you can get Max Holloway at underdog money, why would you ever turn that down? I mean, unless he's fighting Ngannou, why would you ever turn down Max Holloway as the underdog? I mean, that to me is just... It's a super close fight. Volkanovski can absolutely win it. But I think there's a real good argument that Holloway won that second fight. So, I'm going to go with Holloway. I think that's third time lucky for Max Holloway. He'll get it done this time. And I think underdog money is mental. Max Holloway at underdog money. Here's Viking Raiders. They've got shields, which are going to look cool in Mattel figure form. Making their way down, they've got cool, great-looking ring gear. Moody Viking Raiders. This repackage is okay. Does feel like they've stepped out from early 1990s WWF, and I do love that. So, Viking Raiders have stepped into the ring, and Xavier hands a microphone over, but the Viking Raiders go to get it. Good. I was going to say, they've got shields. Why don't they use them? But they are using them. Xavier drops that microphone on the floor, and we start getting a beat down. And they are using the shields, which is good to see. Xavier goes down. So, Viking Raiders laying out the New Day once again. I think we're meant to be getting a match here, aren't we? Don't know if that'll be after the break or if the match has now been cancelled. Maybe it's been changed to a promo instead. Both guys are down. Viking Raiders were just about to leave the ring, but they've decided to return to inflict a little more pain. They grab Kofi. Kofi up in the air. Slam down hard. Vicious Raiders and Far In Rainbows. This is my kind of show. So, there we go. Adrian, shout out to you. Viking Raiders are dead. They're now the Vicious Vikings. Is that what they referred to them as? They've still got R's on their shields, though. The new Vicious Viking Raiders is what Michael Cole just said. So I don't know if they're Vicious Vikings or Vicious Viking Raiders, but Vicious has definitely been added. It might be like a Seth freaking Rollins type thing. Where it just gets like bolted in there. Vicious Vikings is fine, but War Machine was better. War Machine was way better. Yeah, I agree. Brian said, do you think Sarah Logan will return? Hope so. I always liked her. I always liked her. Imagine if you did like War Machine, which could, be the collective name of the vicious Viking Raiders and Sarah Logan against Judgment Day. Oh, damn, that'd be good. That'd be good. Here's Asuka, so I think we're going to get the 6-woman tag match now. So we are moving on, the show chugging along as we're approaching the end of the first hour. Here's Asuka. On it is the way. Boom, boom. Right, Asuka. I can't remember everyone that's in this match. Let's have a look. Asuka, Liv, and is it Alexa? Maybe Raquel? I can't remember. Oh, it doesn't do that anymore, does it? They changed her music. Alexa against Raquel, Shotzi, and it's not Becky, is it? Raw versus SmackDown is what we've got. Raw versus SmackDown. Lacey. That's who I was forgetting. Raw versus SmackDown. That's what these teams represent, if you was wondering. An hour in, we've only had a Royal Rumble, seen the New Day get the bleep beat out of them. It is a go-home, though. It is a go-home. I think that, these shows are always going to be just about putting the final touches and the focus on Money in the Bank. So this is the go-home for the show tomorrow. So I can't say I was expecting, loads and a thrill ride. But it's all right. It's passable. Who will the Hing General face tonight? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know if they will have him. I think there's a chance that this is a week that we might just get a promo. As I said, the focus is very much on building tomorrow. And the Hing General, as far as I know, is not competing tomorrow. So it might be a week where we just get a little backstage promo. Just a reminder that he's around type thing. Now watch Lacey win, and then she will cash in the briefcase tomorrow. This is typical rubbish WWE booking, says Lance. Heel Gemini said, can I get a shout out for my channel and for the wrestling company I work for? It's Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, AR-Dub, on Fight TV. We've got some AEW talent coming in. AR-Dub, AR-Dub, AR-Dub. Who was that talent? Was it Ryzen, did you say? Ryzen, including Ryzen. Yeah, Heel Gemini, shout out to you. AR-Dub on Fight TV. Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling. Hope you're doing well, dude. Corbin won the Battle Royal for nothing. If we're just going to get a Fatal 4-Way, the writers are drunk. Have they said there's a Fatal 4-Way? Have we got a Fatal 4-Way? So he's not qualified? Are they literally just finding ways of killing the show, filling time? Have they said there's a Fatal 4-Way tonight, is there? Lol. I always hate when Money in the Bank winners cash in really soon after they win. They should build it up and tease it and do stuff. It is an awesome tool. Yeah, I mean, I agree and disagree. I think that I agree because it is awesome and people do love cash-ins, and when they're teasing cash-ins and they decide not to do it and all that kind of stuff. But equally, I think you can't tell that same story every time. Like, you do need variety. The idea that it can happen anywhere, anytime, kind of means that you do need an early cash in, because that is something that can happen. Basically, when the opportunity feels like it's the right opportunity, you take it. And whether that's night 1, night 2, night 100, night 200, night 300, like, you go for it. So I totally get that point, but I equally don't mind the fact that they do vary it a bit, because I think that reflects reality. In reality, you would cash it in when you feel the best time is to cash it in. And also, in reality, there would be people that get, do you know what I mean? It's a bit like when you get your birthday money or something and you want to spend it straight away. You know, when you're a kid and you get money, all you're thinking about is, when am I spending this money? If you're a wrestler and you've got a flipping money in the bank contract, I don't think it's out of the rules of realms of reality to think that they're like, I want to cash it in, I want to cash it in, I want to cash it in. Like a kid with birthday money. I could totally understand that they would be that way. Here's Big Time Bex. But I agree, it is an awesome tool. And that's what's so good about the fact we've got a men and a women's. Like, if they do go with, like, say, the men cashing in on the show, you've still got the women's. And they can still tease when they're cashing it in. Wasn't that long ago we only got the men. The women didn't even have a Money in the Bank, so we have a couple of options now. A few different things that we can do. Big Time Bex has come out. She's cutting a promo. I'm the biggest threat in this match, referring to the Money in the Bank match. I am going to lend my analysis and my expertise to the commentary table. So she's coming over to the commentary team. The men can't cash in on the show since Roman won't be there. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for this year. Just talking in general, we've seen it done. We actually did a watch along for Money in the Bank 2016, and Dean Ambrose cashes in on that show. So we have seen it done. I feel like the women have done it as well. I want to say like Alexa or someone did it. So I don't mind the variety. Right, we are underway with this match, and we are an hour in. As soon as we get to the commercial break, we will do halftime scores. Don't forget as well, I did say, it's probably too late now, isn't it? If you are watching, Money in the Bank watch-along will be on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. So I will put, what I'll do is I will put a link on the Wrestling Days channel that will take you straight there. So if you are subscribed to the Wrestling Days channel, you should be able to find that. It'll be on the community thing. I'll try and have some on the homepage. I will try and have something, actually, I'll try and set it up tonight, whereby if you go to the Wrestling Days homepage on YouTube, there should be a very obvious link on there that will take you to the watch-along. And, yeah, there'll also be a link to the UFC one. So there's kind of like two streams going on at the same time. We've got a UFC stream and we've got the Money in the Bank stream. Happening at the same time because the shows are on at the same time. Big day tomorrow. Edward said, have you heard Conor versus Mayweather 2 is just around the corner? They are in talks. Well, I mean, look, if that comes off, it's going to be a massive fight, but it won't do the numbers that it did the first time. I think the intrigue of the first one was something special. I think Conor as well was a bigger star. I think he hasn't actually won a match in quite a while, so his star power is maybe not as great as it was. I don't think they do the 4 million buys they did the last time, but they'll still do some mental numbers. That is still going to be one of the biggest pay-per-views. I mean, that will I would certainly be tuning in for it. Miz versus Corbin versus Ezekiel versus Madcap. Who wins that in your opinion? Miz. Big Time Baxter said, Days, WWE just announced it is going to be Corbin versus Miz versus Ezekiel versus Madcap. Winner takes the spot. Corbin must defend his spot. Ridiculous. He wins a battle royal and doesn't even qualify. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think if they wanted Corbin in it, though, they would have had him qualify and they would have used the battle royal. Does that imply that the person that won the battle royal was not meant to win the battle royal? Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. Maybe the battle royal was meant to have been won by The Miz and The Miz got accidentally eliminated and now they're having to find a new way of doing it because, I don't know, man, would you honestly sit down and book this? Would someone honestly sit down and book the show that we've had with a battle royal that has now turned out to be pointless, and now you get a fatal four-way where the person that won the battle royal that wasn't in the match has now not qualified for the match and has got to now win a different match and has got to fight. They've all got to fight twice on the same show the day before the pay-per-view. I mean, it's just mental, innit? It's just mental. Like, how could you mess this up more? And why have you made this so convoluted? I don't know, man. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. The only way I can explain it is that they want this whole show to be about Money in the Bank, and so they're just trying to find as many ways of getting the guys and the girls out there as possible and fill up 2 hours. That's why we've had a battle royal and now we need something else. That's the only way I could explain it if it's not been botched. Is Lacey a face or a heel? She is trying to be neutral. She is both heel and face. A spaghetti wrestler. Is spaghetti heels and faces, are they? I didn't realise. At the moment, we've got the Raw women celebrating as all of the SmackDown girls are outside the ring. Brendan said, least favourite women's wrestlers. I heard Trash talked about how bad the women were in the 2000s, like Stacey Keibler, Tori Wilson. I disagree. I don't care for Nikki ASH or Asuka. Damn, man. Asuka, to me, is the best in-ring woman they've ever had. I don't think there's ever been a better female in-ring performer than Asuka in the whole of WWE's history. So, I think for me, I'm looking at the women that were like divas, the women that, and it all comes back to that same conversation we were having about celebrities. You know, when I watch WWE, I want to be watching what I can at least believe are the best of the best. I want to watch the best professional wrestlers competing to be the champion. And if you are the WWE champion, you should be the best. If you are the Universal champion, you should be the best. It should be the best of the best fighting to be crowned the best. So anything that falls below that standard, if you're a celebrity that's had a few months training, that's just not in my wheelhouse. That's just not what I'm looking for. Equally, if you win a Divas search because you, let's take Eva Marie, right? So Eva Marie was brought in because of her looks. I'm not saying that as being disrespectful. That's a fact. She was brought in because of her looks. She was a pretty girl. They were looking for pretty girls and a diva search. And they were actually looking for women that could make up Total Divas. So the Total Divas show it needed women, and it needed drama, and it needed people that were going to be, kind of the faces of that show. So they already had the Bellas, and they already had the Funkadactyls, and they kind of fleshed it out. But then, they added in some women that were literally just there for their looks. And one of those was Eva Marie, who couldn't wrestle. She couldn't wrestle. Cameron. I mean, I saw a clip the other day I'd forgotten about where Cameron has a match with Naomi. She does a split pin. It's the same kind of finish that you see like Nikita Lyons doing in NXT. She does this pin and she's like screaming, shout. She screams to the ref, count it, ref, count it, because she's pinning her. Thing is, she's got Naomi upside down. So Naomi is face first on the mat. Her shoulders aren't down. She's got her the wrong way round. And she's there going, count it, ref, count it. It's like the ref has to go, you need to turn around. She's trying to pin her the wrong way round. Wasn't it Cameron as well that when she spoke to Stone Cold, like, mentioned some god-awful match as being her favourite because she just didn't know wrestling. So, like, for me, these women, these are the women that are my least favourite. I would say, like, you know, I mean, look, Asuka, Kana in Japan. Damn, man. Damn. We're talking about one of the best. Io Shirai as well. Absolutely brilliant. I think there's a lot of really good women that are in WWE at the moment. You know, all the horsewomen are brilliant. I've got no qualms with those. Shotzi has got a lot of experience on the indie scene. Becky, a lot of experience on the indie scene. I think someone like Liv was someone that was in-house, and the same as Bianca, I think, was in-house, but they've both come through NXT. And as I said, NXT is developmental. You put the time in NXT, you put the hours into NXT, and you're basically putting hours into learning how to wrestle. So I've got no problem with people spending time in NXT and coming through NXT. If they don't have like any kind of indie backgrounds. But for me, I'd say my least favorites would be, yeah, those names. Anyone that falls into that bracket of just being there for their looks. You know, like a Sable. Sable, she was god awful. Sable was there for her looks. Kojiko said Play-Doh started out as wallpaper cleaner. I think that was mentioned, didn't you? I think you've mentioned that one before. I feel like you've dropped a Play-Doh fact before. Shotzi working on Alexa. Does Kelly fall into that department? She sort of does. Kelly's an interesting one because she could do a few things. I think, to be honest, she would be more into that bracket. Yes. She would be more into that bracket. I remember she was like wasn't she like a dancer on ECW, and that's how she started. I don't think she had any wrestling background, but I think she tried to like learn it. She wasn't someone that was just completely useless and wasn't trying to improve. I mean, in credit to Eva Marie, towards the end of her time, did go down to NXT and did actually spend some time with Brian Kendrick, and did try to, like, improve. To be honest, the damage had sort of already been done, and, you know, you only get one chance, really, to make a first impression. And Eva had already made that impression on people. That impression was she wasn't a wrestler. So trying to, like, learn after you've already made that impression is going to be very difficult. In all fairness, had she stuck with that training, stayed in NXT, and actually we'd seen that improvement in her, then, you know, if she'd been there now, the perception of her might have changed. You know, now she might have had enough time to have shown that she had improved. But she was in NXT. She was there for a bit, but she got brought back to the main roster, and she wasn't on the main roster that long in that kind of her second run, if you will. Anyway, shoulder tackle, down goes Shotzi. When you say Mickie James, you can add Ivory and Molly Holly. Yeah, I mean, they were great. I've got respect for all of those. Molly Holly does a lot of training behind the scenes. She is someone that wasn't really interested in being there for her looks. I feel like Molly Holly would be like a wrestler in any generation. She was not there for like the fame and all of that kind of stuff. She was there because she loved to wrestle. And I think I'm right in saying that Ivory was in Glow. So Ivory actually competed in Glow, which I know was like a TV show kind of thing, but it was, you gotta remember, man, opportunities for women back in the day were really limited. You sort of had to just take work wherever you could get it. So, nothing but respect for Ivory. Ivory feels like a proper women's wrestler who just was sadly around at the wrong time. She was around during the Attitude Era. And there wasn't really, Ivory would have been great in this era. But she would have been great now. Same with Molly Holly. She would have been great now. Shotzi throwing Asuka out the ring. Liv looking for a flatliner and she gets it on Shotzi. 2, 3. Liv gets the win. So Liv gets the win again. Is that a good sign? Is that a bad sign? Is it showing that are they building her up, giving her momentum? That's a couple of wins that Liv has got. Are they trying to make her a credible winner going into Money in the Bank? Or has that cemented the fact that she is not winning? Asuka gets slammed down. Liv wins on Raw and SmackDown before Money in the Bank. Is that a good or a bad thing? We did say, I bet if you win on a go-home, your percentage of winning at the pay-per-view is low. But it's worth stressing, it's not 0. She has not got a 0% chance of winning now. I think WWE should let other wrestling companies such as AEW, Impact, IWGP, those wrestlers and belts should be defended in WWE. Too many wins for Liv. They're not going to let her get the win, says Top Tier. We're backstage with Adam Pearce. Here is Sonya as well. Sonya. Adam, what you did was wrong, Adam. She was in a handicap match. Handicap match last week for Sonya. Sonya has filed a complaint against Adam Pearce. And she has slapped Adam Pearce. That's interesting. This is an interesting story. Adam put Sonya in a handicap match. Now she's just slapped him. Usos! Down since day one-ish. We the ones? We the ones? Do you know what would be kind of good? I think the Usos should have Sami Zayn introduce them. Sami Zayn is an honorary Us. So I kind of feel like it would make the Usos feel a bit bigger if they've got someone announcing them out. Like, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, all that kind of stuff, you know? Like, really hyping them up. The honorary Us could introduce them, then they could come out and Sammy could be celebrating, but they're not paying him any attention. That'd be good. I don't know why they don't do that. John said, who do you want to win Money in the Bank? Who do you think will and who needs it? Love the streams. John, shout out to you, bud. Appreciate the support. Let me answer that then. So, who do I want to win? I want people that are in the mid-card that are struggling to get to the main event scene. So, I want Sammy. I think it would really help him. And well, to be honest, I mean, I'm a big Asuka fan, so I would want Asuka. But she doesn't really fit what I just said because she is someone that I'm sure will get opportunities in the future. So I am biased towards Asuka. I'm quite happy to admit that. I don't think that she gets enough opportunity, to be honest. I think she deserves even more opportunity than what she gets. I think Asuka's the best woman they've ever had. I really do. I think that she is engaging, entertaining. I think, obviously, the language thing is a barrier, but I think she's so fun with her promos. so entertaining, so just kind of like, dancing away. She's just like this kind of crazy, wacky character, which I just think is really fun. But in ring, she's a killer. I mean, as soon as the bell goes, she's just a murderer. She's just fantastic. I mean, her takedowns, her arm bars, her strikes, her selling, she's just got everything. She's just so good. For me, like, she should be more decorated than Charlotte. I mean, Charlotte is the most decorated woman. Natalya's got the most wins. For me, those honors should be with Asuka. So I will always feel that Asuka has not been given enough. So I'd be lying if I was to say I want to see anyone win other than Asuka, because I want Asuka. But she doesn't really fit what I was saying. And what I was saying was I like those mid-carders that struggle to get to the top. So if we're looking at that, then I suppose it should be a Liv, or it should be an Alexa. I mean, Alexa, I think, kind of is in the mid-card at the moment. I mean, when was the last time we saw her competing for a title? When was the last time we saw her having a title? I know she's won belts before, but I really think... I mean, I can't quite remember, but we've got to be going back to about 2019. I can't remember having a belt since she was with Bray, and she certainly didn't have a belt after Bray left. So I think we've got to be going back to like 2019 since she was a champion. That's like 3 years ago. So, it's been a long time since she's had a belt and been in that main event scene. And I kind of feel like she could do with Money in the Bank to kind of get her back up there, get things moving again. So, Liv, Alexa, those are the ones that I don't mind. I mean, Shotzi, to be honest, you could look at someone like Shotzi who could win it, and she's got 12 months to get herself, some wins and get herself some momentum. A lot of people would look at Raquel as being too soon, and maybe Shotzi as being too soon. But the truth is, if you win Money in the Bank, you don't have to cash it in for 12 months. So is it still going to be too soon in 9 months' time? In 10 months' time, is it going to be too soon for Raquel and too soon for Shotzi? Because I would say, like, not necessarily. Not necessarily. If you think about how quickly, like, Brock, when he debuted, got to the title. And there's been quite a few people that have debuted and got to the title within the space of 12 months. Raquel's already been on the roster for a little while. Shotzi even longer. And I think you could make an argument for any of them, really. So those are the people that I'm leaning towards. I do want Asuka. The people I can see it being are more Alexa and Liv. I think, though, the outright favourite is probably Becky. Probably Becky being the outright favourite. It's WWE. I can just see them going with that as a big name. Say, I could see it being Becky and Seth. Becky and Seth win Money in the Bank. I could totally see that. But I hope that it's Asuka and Sammy. Asuka and Sammy would be my favourite, but I certainly wouldn't mind it being like Shotzi and Sammy. And a lot of people want Liv. Right, we've got a couple of... we've got 40 minutes left to go, by the way. 40 minutes left to go. We are doing Rampage. But right now, we got the Street Profits and the Usos in the ring. Brenton said, as far as talented women go, it'll be hard to beat the Lita and Trish matches unless it will be Becky versus Charlotte. I think you can do a few different combinations. I think Becky, Charlotte, fantastic. I think you can do, as I said, I'm a big fan of Asuka. I think Asuka's got... Asuka fought Bayley and fought Sasha at SummerSlam 2020. I think it was 2020. Both of those matches were absolutely brilliant. I think that what we're seeing now is we're seeing women that are highly trained, that are able to perform at the high level, that understand the psychology of wrestling, know how to, involve the crowd, know how to sell. I've had loads of experiences, of broken down barriers, loads of firsts, first Hell in a Cell, first Royal Rumble, first Money in the Bank. They've done loads, like the women of this generation. And I think they've got tons of experience. And yeah, it doesn't really matter if it's a Bayley, a Sasha, a Charlotte, a Becky, an Asuka, a Bianca. I mean, who was it at WrestleMania? Bianca versus Becky. That's a hell of a match from WrestleMania this year. It's a fantastic match. Absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed Charlotte Ronda as well. Really enjoyed Charlotte Ronda. I feel like any kind of combination of those, maybe not Ronda so much because she is green, and it was like a street fight thing. If you put her in just a normal match, it's not going to be that level. But yeah, you can take any of those horsewomen, and Asuka, and I don't know. I mean, you might even be able to chuck in a few others in there. I think this is a great time for women's wrestling. Certainly when you compare it to where we've been. Okay. Montez isn't just a tag partner. He is a brother. I don't think Lacey will win. I think it will be Liv or Becky, but I'll be cheering for Lacey, says BBB Yipsy. Anyone but Becky, says Macca Rice. What is this, a game show, says Let Him In. We've got two podiums. One says Street Profits, the other says Usos. Got Kayla Braxton in the middle. It's like a little press conference thing. They might have prepared you for everything in life, but they have not prepared you for this. Street Profits. Great voice. He's got a great voice. Your legacy comes to an end, and the Street Profits legacy will begin. Montez Ford, be careful what comes out of your mouth. We got Usos and Street Profits squaring up to each other. Kayla Braxton's run out the ring. Usos say they actually like the Street Profits. The smoke. I don't know. I don't mind this segment. So they both cut their promos. They're both staring at each other. Sort of interesting hearing the Usos saying they actually like the Street Profits. They respect their kind of swag. Feels like a big match. I feel like that segment worked because I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm down for seeing this. I always find when the Usos are talking, they do come across like one of the biggest tag teams in wrestling right now. I mean, they're right up there with, do you know what I mean, like FTR and the Bucks and Briscoes, and they feel like a massive, massive deal. We got Max Dupree. Apparently next. Yeah, it's coming next. We're gonna see it get revealed. I wonder if it will happen this week or if they save it. They might save it again for next week. They might want to get Money in the Bank out the way. I'm going to be busy tomorrow. I'm going to watch Money in the Bank on Sunday, says BB Yipsy. Imagine having someone like T-Bar in your company and you don't put him in the ladder match, says Gun King. Commercial break. We are at commercial break. Do you want to put in your scores so far? It's not halftime scores. It's 3/4 scores. Do you want to put in your 3/4 scores? We'll just get a little gauge as to where people are, what they think of SmackDown so far. We can't be too far from the main event, which is going to be apparently this fatal 4-way, as people try to take that final spot for Money in the Bank. So I'm guessing we're going to get like Max Dupree and maybe some backstage interviews, maybe a little squash match thing. Maybe we'll hear from Gunther, and then we'll get that main event, and we'll be off to Rampage as we say goodbye to Friday. 6s, 5s, 6. French said, will you do UFC tomorrow? Yep, UFC on this channel. Money in the Bank on Wrestling Escape Pods channel. Tan says 5. Zoom Station says 4. Rob says 1.5. SmackDown's been alright. It's an easy watch. 6. I'm going to give it a reluctant 4, says William. 6, 5. Miss Clown 1 said 25 out of 10. Miss Clown 1's loving it. Is Dupree no longer LA Knight? No, they changed his name. No Hing General today, says Hunter. Maybe not. I still think there's a chance we get a little promo thing. They tend to still keep him on the show somehow. But on this go home, it could be a week we don't get him. 4. Look on Twitter. Why? What's happening? Share. Are you excited for Roman Brock at SummerSlam? Yeah. I mean, I wish it was something different, but I think it was meant to be different. I think it was meant to be Roman versus Randy. But Randy got injured, so they had to change direction, and so we end up with this match instead. And I think to try and make the match interesting, because in order to make it interesting for WrestleMania, they chucked all the belts in. In order to make it interesting for this next one, I think WWE know that Brock's a big draw, Roman's a big draw. They did the match at WrestleMania. They put everything on it. So now they're having to do this rematch because Randy's out. And I think they know that fans are a bit burnt out from it. So that's why I think there is such a focus on that's when the person's going to cash in. You know, they've been very vocal about this is the best time to do it. This is the best time to cash in. So I think that way, that's how they're going to try and get you to, you know, get excited. Is, yeah, all right, Roman versus Brock, great. But what happens after? What happens after? Make sure you tune in, because whoever wins Money in the Bank is going to target that moment. So, yeah, fine. Roman might retain, but are you confident that he's going to retain when someone cashes in? Here's a little thing for the Hing General. The Hing Slammer! This might be all we get. This, maybe a little promo after or something, but yeah, I don't think there's a match. I'm all right with no Gunther match this week. It's a bit of a shame there's no Gunther match at Money in the Bank. The guy's so good, isn't he? Look at him. If you're making a company, pro wrestling company, and you want people to believe you've got the best talent, your Gunther is on your roster. Gunther is on your roster. Okay, that's it for Gunther. Instead, we are going to Max Dupree. Max Dupree is in the ring. Here we go. We might get the reveal this week. Oh, he's got his own little graphics, look. MMM. What? This moment is upon us. And without further ado, you know him as Mace. Until he found his love of fashion. Marseille, is that his new name? Marseille. So they've taken Mace and they've just tweaked it into Marseille. This could work, man. Look, he's got a red carpet. He's come out. And then he's made his way down. Yeah, this is good. I could get with this. It's lovely. It's great work by Marseille. This could work. He looks lame now. It's got a little bit of a Velveteen Dream vibe to it. I could see the Dream doing this. Crowd are booing, but in fairness, they're meant to boo. Someone being out there. It's a bit Lex Luger now. It's a bit narcissist Lex Luger as is kind of showing off. Marseille. I don't hate this. I don't hate this at all. That will undoubtedly divide opinion. But oh, he's got Mansoor. He's got Mansoor, so he's took Mace and now he's got Mansoor. Look at this. Mansoor has come out. I'm loving all the, like, circles above the name and everything. Here's Mansoor. Mansoor. I already know that Twitter's going to hate on this. Oh, Twitter will hate on this. I think this is entertaining. We've had Mace come out. Now we've got Mansoor come out. They're posing. They look absolutely ridiculous in the way that they're, like, all posing and everything. People are going to be hating it, but they're meant to hate it. You're meant to hate it. I don't think you're meant to be watching this going, oh, this is brilliant. I wish we could get 2 hours of this. I mean, I actually do. I actually wish we were getting 2 hours of this. I wish that every wrestler was made to do this. I want to see Gunther come out doing... I want to see Gunther coming out. Austin, this must be like the greatest episode of SmackDown you've ever seen. This must be right up your street. Mansoor. I love how they've kept the same names, but they've tweaked them as well. So rather than Mace, it's Marseille. Instead of Mansoor, it's Mansoir. I like that. It's just a little je ne sais quoi. Everyone's going to want to join, but unless you've got the qualities of Marseille and Mansoir. Look at these two. These two together as a tag team. Look at this, guys. This is This is like some character depth. Look at these. I want to see these two competing. I want to see these two in a tag team. Boos are raining down for them. The crowds are hating it. Social media are going to hate it. The heat on those two is going to be good. I can't wait to see them as a tag team. I really am going to look forward to seeing them two working together and Max Dupree as their mouthpiece. A little bit of character depth. I like it. Let's admit they're just super sexy. That's awesome, says Delwyn. To me, I think the crowd was cheering. I know it was going to be, but it was bad. But that was actually good, says Lemdog. I think it was entertaining. One thing I don't like is just wrestlers going out there. They're just really cold and like there's no depth to it. There's nothing to like care about them. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, you know, like the Dirty Dogs. The Dirty Dogs go out, have a match. Who cares? Like, who cares? There's just nothing. Like, what are they fighting for? What do they stand for? What do they represent? What are they trying to achieve? What are they fighting for? Tell me something about them. Give me a reason to care. Tell me why I should be watching them. Whether I'm meant to like them or meant to hate them. But give me a reason as to why I should feel something. Why should I feel something about these people? They've done that there. They've done that. And if you hate them, that's absolutely fine. That's what you're meant to feel. Like, so it's you know, I can only applaud the fact they've taken a bit of time out of this go-home show to give us something which I don't think has got anything to do with Money in the Bank. They could have done this next week, but instead they've done it tonight. We've got Marseille and Mansoir, which, as I said, I think the names are really fun. They're posing. I mean, how many times have we seen people doing, like, heels doing posing? I mean, do you remember, like, Ravishing Rick Rude would do that kind of thing, you know? Rick Rude would show off in the ring and people would boo him. Lex Luger, when he was the narcissist, would pose and people would boo him. Like, posing and thinking you look absolutely fantastic. Look at Theory. Theory doing his pose down stuff whilst everyone was booing him. Like, it's just been in wrestling forever, where people have, like, showed off their physiques and people have booed. And really, that's what that was. I mean, basically, it was Mason Mansour coming out and just posing, showing off. Of course, the crowd are going to boo it. Of course, they look silly. If anything, I don't think they look silly enough. If anything, I think they should have gone further, because you know what fashion shows are like. We've all seen the pictures where they've got these. But that's something they can do in the future. In the future, we could get, like, you know, the next fashion show, the next male models fashion show, and they can push it a little bit further. Like, I suppose we don't need to go to, like, the crazy extremes, but, man, think about their ring gear, think about their entrance gear, think about how they can mix all of that up. Do you know who would have been great in that role? Do you know who needs to be a part of this? Do you know what girl they need to add? Zelina Vega. Do you remember when Zelina Vega was wearing all those outlandish outfits when she was managing Angel Garza and Andrade? Like, she absolutely needs to be a part of that group. I would be put. You could have a little faction, a little male model. I suppose it's male model, but still, I think that Zelina needs to be a part of this. She needs to be a part of that. I think it's so good. And you could do it again in the future and have, like, proper outlandish costumes. Like, you could do so much stuff with them. There's so much potential that you can do with that. I really like it. And it does make me want to watch them. I want to see them compete. I want to see their matches. I want to see what's their entrance music. I want to see their ring gear. I want to see their entrance gear. I want to see what does Max Dupree do on the outside whilst they're wrestling. Like, is he someone that's gonna interfere? Is he gonna get upset if they get punched in the face? What about when they get punched in the face? Is Max Dupree gonna go crazy at the referee? Because you can't be doing that. You can't be punching them in the face. I think there's lots that you can explore with that. I'm really into it. So I know that Twitter's going to hate it, because Twitter's just going to be like, this is stupid type thing. But I think there's so much you can unpack and do with it. Are you going to sign up for the third member of the Maximum Male Models? Come clean with us now. I'm already signed. Top Tier said, how long before they're buried? Well, it really, as long as they keep them book strong and like give them like good feuds, give them TV time, do some fun things with them. I mean, man, you could there's so much you can do. But I think if they're not gonna get much reaction, and the crowd aren't gonna care, and the segments are gonna, the videos aren't gonna really work, and it's just not gonna, it could fall flat within the space of a few months. Oh my God! Look, next week we get the tennis wear collection. Oh God, I love it. Oh, it's brilliant. Oh my God, it's the best. We get the tennis wear collection next week. It's the best. There's so much that you can do. Imagine at Halloween when they're coming out in like high fashion Halloween costumes. Oh my God, it's so good. Sign me up. Plug it into my veins. I love it. Right. Corbin against Ezekiel. Corbin against Ezekiel versus Miz versus... can't remember who else. Some other people. Someone else. Was it Madcap? So that's something to look forward to next week. Imagine training your entire life to become a professional wrestler and you end up coming out in a floral dress and fanny packs and posing for 20 seconds. It's the best. Wrestling is the best. Are you going to do an AEW watch-along for Royal Rampage? Yeah, I think that's just is that just a normal show? I don't know if that's a normal Dynamite that's just been rebranded. Just call him Zeke. I could call him Zeke. Yes. Tennis wear next week, says Daniel. Ron said, I think Days has got a tumour. Half Sports Media said, I wouldn't mind maybe the Velveteen Dream coming back and being a part of this. I know about his situation, but I heard it was fake and they made it all up. The Dream. If there was a way back for the Dream being a part of that just makes more sense than anything in life. I mean, that is just the absolute... I should imagine the Velveteen Dream is watching that thinking, well, I just absolutely would have been a part of that. I just would have been in that. That would have been absolutely me. Yeah, I agree. MMM tennis wear collection next Friday. Are you excited? Absolutely. I'm excited because part of me also knows how much people are going to be hating this. And that excites me. It excites me that we are getting more of it. And I know that there's going to be people out there that are hating it. And I think they're wrong. So I'm pleased that we're getting more. Anything that gives us character, depth, and anything that can like really provide a bit of intrigue, a bit of insight that can actually make these people stand out is so important. I'm so used to just, backstage promo, and, match, and that's it. And that's all you get. So many people, that's the only thing they get. I mean, those kind of segments, you don't really get those kind of segments. You do get things from time to time, but I mean, that is, as I said, a tag team now that I'm interested in seeing. I hate it, and maybe that's a good thing, says Top Tier. Yeah. Yeah, if you are, if you're feeling anything towards it, that's good. If you are, just like, yeah, it's all right, I don't mind. Like, I'm just neutral on it. That's the worst. That kind of, yeah, it's all right. Blasé. It's not going to make me tune in. It's not going to make me drop a comment on Twitter. I don't love it. I don't hate it. That's the worst reaction. That kind of passive reaction. Because you ain't making any money with that. But if it drives a reaction, if people like feel positively towards it or negatively towards it, then that's all you can ask, isn't it? Heels and faces. Mansoor and Mace weren't doing anything. At least they got characters now. How can you like that but hate supernatural stuff? Oh, easy. Because they're two completely different things. One is a character being given a gimmick that is realistic, and, there's people that love fashion, that love showing off, and in many ways, as we said, a lot of heels, that's exactly what they do. Ravishing Rick Rude used to show off his muscles and do, like, at the start of his matches, he'd be like, all the guys, look at what you could be, and all the women look at what you could be with, and like, he used to show off. We went down, like, a bit of a list, and Lex Luger, Austin Theory, Velveteen Dream, like they've all had, like, gimmicks where they show off. So this is nothing new in wrestling. It's just a way of heels showing off, which you can absolutely buy. I mean, do you know what I mean? Look at me. I'm amazing. Look at my body. Look at my expensive clothes. I mean, this is just what heels do. This is great heel work. Brilliant heel work. Supernatural stuff. You just can't do it in wrestling. I really don't think you can do it. I think that there's people that are able to buy into it and are able to accept it. But I think there's a large chunk of people that aren't. The barrier with that is that I'm meant to believe that these people are real and are real people and have grown up dreaming as kids of being in wrestling, and they get injured. We saw Cody's injury. We saw the bruise that he had. He tore his pectoral muscle. Like, we know that these people have got families. Like Ronda, we just saw a baby being shown. We know that these people do charity work with, like, Make-A-Wish and John Cena. Like, we know that these are people. We know that they have families. We know that they grow up dreaming of being WWE superstars. Like, we know they're like us, really. They're people with dreams and how does supernatural stuff fit into that? Like, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. Because if they thought that there was someone that was genuinely supernatural, wouldn't you call the army? Wouldn't the army come in? Wouldn't they be having, like... Maybe that's why Bray's not around, because the army are doing experiments on him. Maybe that's why he's not around. Like, because if this was, like, something that you could believe and buy into, well, it just doesn't make sense, does it? Plus, also, if you was a human, why the flip would you be competing against someone with supernatural powers? Like, that doesn't make sense either. The WWE Championship should be about crowning who's the best wrestler. How the flip does supernatural powers come into all of this? So, I think it's just impossible to compare that to what we just saw. Miz, slam down. We're back underway with our main event. Makarai said, what if Miz wins this match and he gets close to grabbing the contract? Logan comes down and costs him the match. Could do, I suppose. Could do. I don't know that it would go that way. Don't know that it would go that way, just because I don't know that... Well, are you saying at Money in the Bank? Because I could see it happening then, yes. I thought you meant tonight. Yeah, I could see that happening. I could see the Logan coming down, interfering at Money in the Bank, yes. But not tonight. I think tonight they're going to want everyone focused on Money in the Bank, talking about Money in the Bank. So, double axe handle by Ezekiel. So, yeah, I don't think that they'll do it tonight. But, yeah, absolutely. Could have Logan come down, interfere, and cost the Miz. We've got, how long we got? 8 minutes to go. Back elbow by Ezekiel. We are working our way towards Rampage. Main event of SmackDown this week. The winner of this will get that final spot. Pretty confident that it's not going to be Corbin. Just because he won earlier, and I don't think they'd have him win earlier and again tonight. Plus also, when he won earlier, he was like celebrating, and he was like, you know, it was a big deal for him. So I think they'll probably screw him out of it now. Who would you have join Maximum Male Models? I'm thinking maybe Cameron Grimes. Who would I have join Maximum Male Models? Anyone that's not being used, really. So anyone that's kind of struggling, you could, like, T-Bar. You could have T-Bar that could be in Maximum Male Models. I think anyone that kind of needs to, like, you know, Mace was set in catering, Mansoor was set in catering, and now they've got, you know, something to do. And I think you could chuck T-Bar in there, and anyone else, as I said, that's just on the sidelines. What's great about it is anyone can do it. Do you know what I mean? Anyone could do it. I think, like, if you take, like, say, the Wyatt family, I think you would struggle to put certain people in that. Like, you can't quite see Ricochet in the Wyatt family. It's got a very distinctive feel. Do you know what I mean? And, like, there's certain people which you would probably struggle to put into that kind of a group. And that's no knock of it. That's good that it's got its own identity and, you know, it's got a certain vibe. With something like Maximum Male Models, I sort of feel like it's a bit different because you could put anyone in there. You could put absolutely anyone in there because it's a gimmick that's like universal. It's showing off, and so anyone can be a heel and show off. So I think the potential is massive. It's just is it going to attract enough attention? Are they going to book it right? Are they going to use it right? WWE and AEW said, what would be better if SummerSlam ended in a double count-out, causing them to split the championships? Well, that wouldn't happen. If it's a double count-out, like, the title wouldn't change hands. Titles don't change hands on count-outs. So if it's a double count-out, they wouldn't split the title. It would just stay with Roman. Or John Cena gets added, causing it to be an elimination match. John Cena being added would be better. We got Corbin in the ring with Ezekiel. Drew was the first to kick out. Elias should join MMM. Triple M. Madcap wins. Madcap wins, and it's Madcap that's going to go to Money in the Bank. Madcap's done it. So Madcap goes into the Money in the Bank. Could he be a winner? I don't think so. But big moment for him. All the participants of Money in the Bank will probably come out now, said Seekins 4. Zeke and Cap should team up, says Larry. Riddle, Sheamus, Madcap, Money in the Bank. Drew, Riddle, Sammy, Seth, Sheamus, Madcap, Amos. That is your lineup for Money in the Bank 2022. He kept talking about it, and now he's in it. Hoff Sports Media said, I can see Fabian Eichner being a part of Maximum Male Models with his new character, and I like Eichner's new gimmick. Please read this comment. It should have been Mansoor, Velveteen Dream, and Breezango. Yeah, I can see all of those being in it. Corbin won, Madcap lost. Madcap won. Madcap's going into Money in the Bank. Show has finished. The show has finished. Let's get your thoughts as we've got an advert for UFC 276, which is tomorrow. Very excited about that. Bakayuka said, let's face it, WWE is still good at generating heel heat, and they know how to channel and manage it around characters and individual talents. Unlike AEW, Tony Khan drops the ball on that heat. What do you score, WWE Smackdown? What do you score, Smackdown? Did you like it? Did you hate it? How did you rate it? 775, 62675. We are going over to Rampage. I got acknowledged by Carmella. She liked my comment and replied on TikTok. It was her because it was verified, and it took you to her Twitter and Instagram, and she was live a few hours after. Very good. Very good. If it's actually her and it's from her official account, then yeah, brilliant. Very cool. Why am I putting preview for? Rampage. 40-odd seconds to go till we go over to Rampage. Get in your thoughts. Don't forget tomorrow, the watch-along for Money in the Bank. If you do come to the Wrestling Days channel, there will be a link on the home screen. I will make sure of it. So if you come here, you should still be able to find it. But it is actually technically being hosted over on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. So you can go there and you'll find it straight away over there. I know many of you did join us last week for Forbidden Door. So hopefully you know where it is. And we did a retro watch-along as well for Money in the Bank 2016 last night. So again, that hopefully helped. Or you can join us over here for UFC. We will be doing the UFC show. Big UFC show. Lots going down in Combat Town with Money in the Bank and UFC at the same time. Wrestler with Andy said, I'm so zeked for the tennis wear collection. I've sent you a sneak peek of what they'll be wearing. Is it Rick the Model Martel? That's my guess. I've not looked, but I'm guessing that you have sent me Rick the Model Martel. And if you haven't, shame on you. Shame on you. Let's have a look. It better be. I'm not on yet. No, it's loading. Better be. You've been warned. Darby is making his way down. In fact, it's not loading at all at the moment. Oh, wait, there we go. It is. It is. So flipping slow. That's what it is. I've actually ordered a new phone, you know, because this phone is just horrific. So slow now. Here we go. Finally getting there. Ah! Well, do you know what? I take it back. Definitely no shame on you for this. Sent me a wonderful picture of Fraser Crane. Love Fraser. Look at that. Oh, God, that's good. That's good. I hope you tweeted that out, Wrestle with Andy. That deserves to be seen by the masses. Look at that. Look at that. And do you know what? It gives me great pleasure as well to show this image on camera. Great pleasure. Look at... I love this show. It's the best show, isn't it? It's the best show. The best. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking classic SummerSlam 92. Rick the Model Martel in his tennis wear. Rick, I mean, look, Rick the Model. They've done models before. Rick the Model Martel. There's even a vignette of it. Rick the Model Martel loves tennis. Look at this. There he is. Look, Rick the Model Martel. In his not only in his tennis attire, but playing flipping tennis with his arrogance. Right, we are underway with Darby, and I didn't actually see who he was facing. Well, I don't even know what we've got. What have we got? It's a countdown. What's going on? What's all happening? What's this? AEW. We've got Butcher making his way down. Butcher making his way down to the ring. Royal Rampage. Oh, it's Royal Rampage now. I thought I don't know why. I thought Royal Rampage was going to be something to do with Dynamite. I didn't realise it was on Rampage. Clue was in the name, I suppose. Winner receives the first shot at the AEW Interim World Champion. Royal Rampage. Royal Rampage. They haven't... They've really hotshot this. I actually thought there was going to be a bit of a build towards this. I didn't realise it was now. Right, we've got Silver. Is this going to... Are people going to tune in for this, do you think? Because I don't even think people know this is happening tonight. Maybe I'm in the minority, but the fact that you've got a match that's like the Royal Rumble and you only announced it for the first time the other day and now it's happening, I feel like you absolutely could have built this more. Everything is just so quick in AEW. I just don't think they build things like and promote them and like make them feel big. Like this could be a massive deal, couldn't it? This could be a huge thing. I didn't even know it was on right now. Silver went to throw out Hangman. Hangman went to throw out Silver, but they were both just fooling around. Yo, listen. Right, we've had 200 odd votes coming in. Nice little, oh, that's good. He said, I'm going to get the title shot and then Tony Khan will hug me. Oh, that's good. I like the fact they're making kind of fun of themselves. They're very good at that. Very good at, like, anything that's kind of trending or is getting, like, a talking point. They're very good at including it in, like, the acclaimed rap. Even if it is something that kind of pokes a bit of fun at themselves. Because I'm sure he has to get those rap sites, certainly after the Julia Hart one. I'm sure he has to get those signed off. So I don't think that'll come as a surprise to Tony. Right, here's Roosh. Roosh has made his way out. I mean, this has to be different to the Royal Rumble because WWE own that. So this is like blue and red, and there's 2 rings. They're using the 2 rings. I think the red guys go into the one ring, the blue guys go into the other ring, and it seems to be quite quick with them coming out. Like, already, look, we're counting down. It's the next person coming out now. Roosh is in there. Kick coming into the midsection. Here comes the Blade. Edward said, please read, I'm more famous and known than you as I got noticed by a celebrity. Wow, there's no arguing with that. No arguing with that. I watched AEW Dynamite Blood and Guts main event, says Matthew. Matthew said Tony Khan does need to stop the hotshot booking without a zero storyline. Are you doing things that make sense to the hardcore fans? I mean, I just think, like, with this, it was just booked too quickly. I like the idea of them using the 2 rings and them trying to, you know, do a bit of a Royal Rumble type match. I've got no issue with any of that. I just wish this had been spoken about like a month ago, that this was coming. Don't miss this show because this is coming. Here's Penta and Roosh fighting on the outside. Sling Blades. I got a strong feeling that Alexa or Becky is going to win, but I would genuinely be shocked if Liv wins 3 times in a week. But what if this is done to get her more over and legitimate? Well, you can certainly make the argument for that she is, you know, shown as being a legitimate threat and then goes in and does it. But history tells us that if you win on a go-home, then you don't tend to do as well at the pay-per-view. But as I said earlier, that is not a 0% chance. I just think that is something that you could use to say that it's probably more likely that like Alexa wins it. Because someone like Alexa, who hasn't been winning on these shows, hasn't been getting the pins, or Becky, who hasn't been getting these pins and struggled to get in, like, they probably stand maybe a better chance now of actually winning on the show. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think you can read too much into it, but I would say that I'm feeling pretty good for Alexa or Becky. It's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be really interesting. Swerve is in the ring. Before the show, Tony came out and said he'd just come up with the Royal Rampage match this week, says Halloween for Life. Well, maybe that is true. And maybe he's got these 2 rings and he wants to just maximize having them. Which, you know, as I said, the actual idea of it I like. It doesn't change the fact, though, that this is something that we see on a regular basis where, you know, they will do things just way too quickly and they will do matches, like, really, really quickly, and the build for them is always very limited. So, it's a criticism of this match, but it's a criticism I would have of AEW overall. Keith Lee is in the one ring. Swerve is in the other ring. Powerhouse Hobbs comes over. Double axe handle to Keith Lee. So as we said, we've got loads of wrestlers in both rings at the moment. This feels inferior to Blood and Guts. It's meaningless. Does the winner get a title shot? They do, yeah. The winner gets the first shot at Jon Moxley. his interim title. So this is to decide who's going to be facing Jon Moxley. I mean, to be honest, I understand people saying that this doesn't feel as special as Blood and Guts. What I would say is Blood and Guts had a hell of a build compared to this, which has had next to no build. But also, this was obviously recorded at the same show, and they want to maximize having the 2 rings. They want to maximize the fact that they've got both rings set up for war games, for Blood and Guts. So you kind of have to show it now. You kind of have to do it now because it was all recorded at the same show. Nice forearm strikes coming in. If you want this to feel even bigger and more special, then obviously it should have its own pay-per-view, and it should be like, the main focus of a card. I think that would be good, actually. I feel like they could do with that. They could do with... Because all of their pay-per-views are the same. They're just match. There's no... I think I'm right in saying there's no pay-per-view that's main evented by any kind of gimmick match. I know you get like the casino battle royal thing or the casino ladder match on the Double or Nothing, but that tends to be like middle of the card type thing. It's sort of like when Money in the Bank was at WrestleMania. It's a gimmick match that's on the show, but it's not like a major focus. They could really do with something like a Royal Rumble, like where a show is named after the match. And maybe, like, this Royal Rampage type thing could end up being that. I don't know. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see a pay-per-view where it's got a different feel to it, different flavour. There's a different main event type match. And it doesn't have to be this. It could be anything. We were talking the other day about some new gimmick match ideas. And that was kind of a fun conversation we were having. Over the top goes Roosh. An idea of mine, put the TNA hexagon ring in between the regular ones. What do you mean? So have 2 rings and then also put a 3rd ring in there. Don't know. 3 rings. I mean, if you can find a way of using them and there's a reason for it and it works and it looks good, then yeah. I mean, I don't mind this one with 2, where you've got like 2 Royal Rumbles going on at the same time kind of situation in both rings. It's a lot of action to try and follow, though. Johnny, shout out to you, dudes. Appreciate it. There's someone sitting in the front row with a brown paper bag on their heads. There's Kip Sabian in the crowd who tends to have a box on his head. I don't know if that's what you've seen. But Kip Sabian's gimmick at the moment is sitting in the crowd with a box on his head. Don't know why. Legit don't know why. Hardy trying to hold on. I don't know if he did touch the ground, but yeah, well, he's gone now. He has now. Hardy has been eliminated. We've got someone else making their way down from Top Flight. I think, is it Dante? Dante Martin. Goldust. Dustin Rhodes is in there. Ricky Starks is in there. Ricky Starks gets chucked over the top. He's on the verge of being eliminated, but is hanging on. And Ricky Starks powering his way back into the ring. Powerhouse Hobbs comes over. Attacks Dante Martin. We've got around about 12, 13 people in the ring at the moment, in the 2 rings. I agree. Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble, Hell in a Cell. Make the gimmick match the crescendo, said J-Tub. J-Dub. Yeah, I just think as well, for someone like AEW, they don't need loads. They don't need, just one. That'll do. Just summer. Chester. I can't pronounce it. Takeshita. Takeshita is in the ring. Takeshita. God, why don't we just call him Barry? Well, he's gone in and he has got doing a German to Swerve. Swerve holds on to Darby Allin. Takeshita ends up Germaning both of them. Don't try and confuse me. Did you see John Cena come back? I did, yes. Even though this isn't as interesting in Blood and Guts, this still feels like it should have been part of the pay-per-view last weekend and belonged more than what it had. Says John. Right, we've got House of Black member making their way down. Santana Garrett is the Women of Wrestling World Champion. Big Time Back said if Alexa wins, it'll be interesting to see how she is perceived by certain fans, certain crowd venues that might be pro-Liv. She is babyface, but I do wonder if we could see a slow heel turn. Well, I think that Liv has got fans, but I don't feel, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't feel like the whole of the crowd are behind Liv. I don't feel like Liv has got that Daniel Bryan support. I don't feel like Liv has got that kind of level of support. I think she's got a vocal fan base, and I think there will be fans in the crowd that will be cheering for her, and she will be a popular winner if she wins, but she hasn't got that unanimous support. I feel like there's plenty of people that are hoping that, someone else wins. There's plenty of Alexa fans, for example, that will be behind Alexa. I feel like the Liv standum is strong, but I feel like the Alexa standum is strong as well. And God, how many of them Lily dolls are they selling? Do you know what I mean? They're selling them to someone. Plenty of people out there that are rooting for Alexa. So I feel that Alexa, Liv are amongst the favourites. And in all fairness, if Becky wins and the crowd boo because they wanted Alexa or Liv instead, that just works great for Becky, doesn't it? That's just perfect for her. To get that kind of heat. And to upset the fans and deny them of either like a Liv or Alexa victory. Like, they could go that way just for that. They could go with Becky just to try and get that heat. It could be that, like, Liv is about to win. She's got, like, one hand on the briefcase. Becky comes in, tips the ladder over, smashes her about, quickly runs up, gets the briefcase and wins it. Could absolutely go that way. Big chop to Orange Cassidy. Cassidy against the ropes, ducks underneath. Up round the houses, looking for a standing guillotine. Suplex there. Big suplex. Orange Cassidy has just made his way down. 20 minutes gone already in this. There are another couple of matches. This won't take the hour. Butcher and Blade working together. Takeshita is eliminated. Thrown over the top by the Blades. Keith Lee is chopping away at Powerhouse Hobbs. We've got a double split screen. We can see what's happening in both. And Orange Cassidy is eliminated. Wow, Swerve just hurling Orange Cassidy out. Keith Lee's eliminated as well. Keith Lee goes. We're getting down to the business end here. We got Butcher and Blade with Swerve and Darby in the one ring. We got Hangman and Brody King in the other. Swerve is eliminated. Ricky Starks is still in there as well. Nice head scissor takedown by Hangman. Hangman in there with Brody King and Ricky Starks in the left-hand ring. Hangman gets thrown over the top, hangs on. Kick to the face. Pulls the top rope down. Ricky Starks is eliminated. Oh, Hangman eliminated by Brody King. House of Black member. He is the last man in the one ring. We're about to get down to him against Darby. So here we go. We're down to the final two. Brody King and Darby. Powerbomb. Brody King has grabbed Darby. He hurls him into the other ring. Darby is getting ragdolled, chucked around. Brody chasing after him. Crowd are firmly behind Darby here as Brody is back in the corner, charges over. Big splash, collides into Darby. Slumps down. Bang, look at that cannonball. Darby gets driven back into the corner. Up on top. Big chop coming in by Brody King. I was wrong. Let's go, said Rivy. Do you think Theory will beat Bobby clean? I think he retains the title, but I don't think it'll be clean. Probably be a low blow, something along those lines. Brody King on the outside. Darby in a bit of a sleeper hold at the moment. Gets picked up. Dragged out the ring. He's got... and he eliminates him, man. Look at that. Brody King wins. Really thought they were going to go with Darby out. I really like that, though. I really like that. He looks great. And he surely would win that as well. I mean, like, Jon Moxley takes on Brody King. And we've just seen him win this big Rumble. So he's absolutely earned it. I really like that. I like it. I think, I feel like the match is a bit too quick. I think that they probably could make a bigger deal of people coming out. I think that I like the two rings. I like the two different colors. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. Do you know what I was just thinking? I was thinking it would be really cool if you did that as the main event of a pay-per-view, and you've got two rings, and you do a rumble in that ring, and you do a rumble in that ring, and it's 15 guys in, like, both rings. I mean, actually, you could have 20 in both rings, because everyone loves the countdowns, and that just lacked legends. Like, I think you need some legends. You need some, like, classic names. We saw it, like, they've done Battle Royal things before. Like, no, not that. It's Casino Battle Royal, kind of, you know, where you got the spades and all that. And we've seen people like Glacier coming down. We've had legends before. Billy Gunn came down. And I don't know if we knew he was in AEW, if that's how he made his debut or not. But what I would do personally is I would make that the main event of a pay-per-view. I would slow down the people that are coming down because I think it's a bit quick. I would have potentially 20 in each ring because I think both rings can support that amount of people. Not that it would ever get to those numbers, but I think it can support a fair amount of people. I think that gives you more opportunity to bring back some legends, gives you more spots to play with. Because with the Royal Rumble, you want to fit your current roster in, but also you want to have a nice little sprinkle of surprises. If you have 40, you can do 20 in each ring, and it gives you good scope to, really have a good mixture. So I would do that. You could always keep it 30 and just have 15 in each ring. You could do that as well. So either. But, I would do that. And I was just thinking, and this is going to sound crazy, right? But if you was going to do that as a main event of a pay-per-view, why not spend a little bit of money on the ring, right? And actually do something that makes people go, that's cool. And what I would do is I would actually have the 2 Rumbles going on. You have the winner in that ring and the winner in that ring. And then what it should become is a match. So you do a Royal Rumble type thing, and then I would have it come down to a match. And imagine if you could press a button, Tony Khan could press a button, and the ropes that separate the 2 rings, kind of go into the turnbuckle. So the ropes disappear. And imagine if, the gap that's between the 2 rings, there's a platform that kind of comes out and just fills that gap. So what it becomes is one big ring, one extra long, extra large ring, and then the 2 people that are left have to go one-on-one in a match in this what is now a perfectly normal, well, say normal. The one side's obviously, both sides are really long, but I could see that, and I could absolutely be done. The ropes on this side just, retract into the ring post. Easy you can do that. And then just an extra bit of ring, extends out to, connect. Could easily do that. Taking bumps on that connecting part would be moody. But it's no different than what they do in War Games. War Games, you've got, a bit of metal that they tend to put on to connect the 2 rings. So they don't have that gap. So you could absolutely do that. In fact, I can't even remember. They might have used something... They might have had something that connected the 2 rings during the Blood and Guts match. They might have had a metal panel or something that just kind of filled that gap, because you don't want that gap. The gap in between the rings, you could get your leg caught down there. You could get anything. I mean, you could cause some real danger. You could cause some real damage. So you'd want something to cover that. But I just like the idea of why not spend a bit of money and actually have it so that something extends out. You could have it, look really cool. And kids would love it, man. Imagine that once the Rumble bits are done and you've got down to your 2 winners, you press the button and it's the ropes. That'd be really cool. Spend a bit of money on it. Why not? If you're going to use that ring as a major finale of a pay-per-view, then yeah, why not? You'll get your money's worth. Young Bucks are making their way down. I didn't actually see who they were potentially facing. How long have we got? We got half an hour to go. It's going to be Young Bucks taking on Goto and Yoshihashi versus Goto and Yoshihashi. Wrestlers would be out of breath when you did the Irish whip. Yeah, that's true. But you wouldn't do it, would you? Or if you did it, you would use the other way. Let's say 60-man, 2 rings, 45-second interval, 1 ring at a time. Final 2 go into the hexagon ring for the belts. Go into the center ring. You could do that. I can't see why you couldn't do that. I like my transforming ring idea, though. I like that. I just know as a kid I would have loved it. I just would have it's gimmicky, but it works, and people would love it. Hook spoke. He spoke. We have heard him before. We are underway with Young Bucks, Goto, and Yoshihashi. We've got less than half an hour to go. And I have got things to set up for tomorrow, so definitely not going to be able to like stick around too long afterwards. But it's exciting, isn't it? On the verge of a big, big day tomorrow. Smackdown is over. Smackdown is over. Right, we've got the Bucks showing off their physiques. They could be the next maximum male models. Come crashing down onto Goto and Yoshihashi. Check my tweet in case you don't believe me. I believe you, dude. I totally believe you. As I said, if you've checked it and it's from a verified account, then I believe that she got in touch. I mean, they are out there. They are on social media, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. Justin said, AEW needs a 3-layer cage from the movie Ready to Rumble. That is a true classic. That would be good. I'm down for that. That could main event a show. I'm still waiting for SmackDown to be on in Seattle, says Salome. I keep forgetting that you guys on the West Coast don't get it like at the same time as everyone else. We might as well end the poll, actually, mightn't we? Because we... wow, really popular show. I can only put that down to maximum male models that's had that effect. But what did you score SmackDown? 8 to 10, 31%. 7 to 7, 7-5, 28%. 6 to 6, 7-5, 24%. 5-7-5 or below, 14%. I thought this was fine, but not anything that crazy. I'd probably be at like a 6.5, to be honest. I thought some of the booking was a bit mystifying. To have like a battle royal at the start of the show when we're just a day away from a pay-per-view was pretty wild. And then it's won by Baron Corbin, and he doesn't even get to go into the match. Doesn't even get to go. There has to be another match later on in the same show. So some of that kind of, I think, makes you go, But, yeah, we got the maximum male models thing. We did get that. So, I'm not going to disagree. 8 to 10. 8 to 10 just for maximum male models. Can someone tell me who won the Rampage Royale? It was Brody King. Brody King. If Goto and Hashi win, they earn a tag match rematch with titles on the line, says Adil. Shaquem said, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. We've got 25 minutes to go, and is our main event tonight Nyla Rose against Toni Storm? That's the only other match that I can see. So the Royal Rampage opened the show. We got Young Bucks in action right now against Goto and Yoshihashi. And the only other match is Nyla Rose versus Toni Storm. Do we now need community male models? Always. That has been a need for a long time. Right, Goto colliding into Nick Jackson. Big strike by, it's Matt Jackson in there. Another big strike. Hello, what's this? Bloodline might be getting a new member. Fightful reports, as recently as this week, there's been serious talks about Solo Sikoa joining the main roster. Sikoa is the younger brother of Jimmy and Jay. Fightful adds there is no confirmation of what brand Sikoa would go to, but since Jimmy and Jay are the Raw and SmackDown Tag Team Champions, they are technically on both. There has been talks about Sikoa skipping NXT and going straight to the main roster, which in all fairness, he hasn't done. He's been in NXT for a little while. I think he's been in since, I don't know, about 8 months, something like that. So that's interesting. That was a couple of hours ago. I think the most stupid thing, Days, was that people who already qualified was in the Battle Royal. I agree. Okay, so we're still underway with this match. We're just got 20-odd minutes left to go. Against the ropes goes Nick Jackson, clothesline. He goes down. Matt Jackson is in there. He goes in with a super kick. Another super kick. Goto against the ropes. Clothesline. Everyone is down at the moment. Legend Killer, hello. Shout out to you. Austin said Solo Sikoa is main roster ready, to be honest. I would imagine that he's been wrestling his whole life. I mean, he even though he's only been in NXT for, say, 8 months, I can't imagine that is like his first time being exposed to wrestling. Because he's obviously part of that Anoa'i family, and I mean, you're talking Rikishi, Yokozuna, Roman Reigns, Tamina, Rock, Umaga, Rousey. The list just goes on and on and on. Wild Samoans, head shrinkers. I mean, that is just such one of the biggest, most involved families in wrestling. So Solo Sikoa has got it absolutely in his blood. So I can't say I'd be surprised if he was ready. He certainly looked all right when I was watching NXT. They just had him involved in some really stupid stuff. Do you remember when he got his face burnt and he had a wound and his wound fell off during the match? Like, that happened. I've never known anything like that happen, but that happened, where a wound fell off during a match. A fake wound. It was Boa, wasn't it? I think Boa did it. Stupid Boa. Right. Yoshihashi is down. Solo Sikoa is the most over wrestler in NXT. He always has good matches, and he can talk as well. MMM is a knockoff of Maxim Men's Magazine, says Larry. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Young Bucks victorious. Young Bucks get the win. The World Tag Team Champions. The Young Bucks. Right, so they have won, and I'm guessing it's just time for our final match. Grisham. I'm excited to see Grisham. I'm tired of being left out of the important conversations. Come next week on Rampage, I will show you why. Really good promo. I like that promo from Grisham. I really like that promo. Talking about how he's a 17-year veteran and he's tired of being left out of the conversation. Everyone talks about how Bryan Danielson's the best. Well, how can that be when he's the best? I'm the best. He's like the wrestling Thug Rose. I'm the best. Tony Storm. Tony Storm. Na 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 na. Bucks win. What a shock, says James. James is shocked. Hey, James, did you see the England under-19s, eh? I don't even need to tell you what happened, because I know you know. I know you know. Very nice. Goto is a great man. He deserves a dub in the West. I did not give the match much attention. I got distracted by NXT talk, says Austin. I don't know where Boa is. He's not been on since Sokoa beat him. Ashamed. That's where he should be. In the cupboard. Ashamed. The cupboard of shame. That's where he is. He's in the cupboard of shame. Christian, tired of being a sidekick, says Zoom Station. James said, I told you loads of time, Gresham is one of the best. He doesn't get the respect he deserves. To be honest, the only person who puts him in that conversation is James. No, James has mentioned it. He has mentioned it lots of times. And I am very excited to see him compete. And James, if next week that match is not the best match that I've seen this year, if it is any less than the best match I've seen this year, then I have to think that you've been lying to me this whole time. That you've been lying to me and you've been lying to this community that he is not the best wrestler. Otherwise, next week he will have the match of the year. So, no pressure. No pressure, James. But next week needs to be one of the greatest wrestling matches I have ever seen on Rampage. Thug Rose lost her title. Let me change that for you. Thug Rose was robbed. She isn't the best. No, she isn't. She isn't the best when it comes to crooked judges. If you're a crooked judge, then no, she's not the best. If you're a stand-up citizen, if you're one of the good guys, then she is the best. James said, it just depends if Tony Khan books it right. Oh, he will book it right. That's guaranteed. Tony Khan will book that match. Booker of the year! Booker of the... You are questioning the Booker of the year? Come on. Come on. Come on. Of course he's going to book it right. Tony Khan embraces good booking the same way he embraces newly signed AEW wrestlers. Very intensely. He's very intense with his great booking and new signings. It's going to be fine. That is not something we need to worry about. Nyla Rose says she is the number one contender and all roads lead through her. Marina Shafir. Can't believe what she's hearing. Shaking her head in the background. Here's Mark Henry. It's time! Booker of the Year? I'm sorry, but I cannot dig that sucker. Yeah, that's true, actually. I wonder how Booker T feels. He's Booker of every year. You're absolutely right. Nyla Rose making her way down. Does that make Khan the new Booker T? Yes. Yes. Do you reckon when he's 5 times Booker of the Year, he will be like 5 times? Marina Shafir. Clapping away, trying to provide support, trying to fire up the native beast. Nyla Rose. Here's Toni Storm. Marina, yes, please, says to heel. Funniest thing JBL ever said was call me a wambulance. Here's Toni Storm. Rampage's only an hour. It's only an hour. Irish Rebel said, I just like making people happy and laugh, and that's the way life should be. No. No. We all should make each other cry, feel sad. We need to put other people down to make ourselves feel better. Yeah, that is what I want to promote in this community. I want to bring all of those negative people together so that we can all just be negative on each other. That's my dream. It's good to have a dream. I'm not here to promote love and joy and happiness. It's overrated. Why make other people feel good when you can make them feel bad? I think I'd be a good heel. I think I'd be a good face. Nah, I wouldn't. I'd suck as a face. I'd suck as a face. My natural instinct is to say things that are a little bit controversial and like make people a little uncomfortable. That's my natural instinct. I'd be a heel. I think if I was in wrestling, I'd be a heel. And that's going to surprise a lot of you because I am such a face on these streams. I'm such a face. I'm like the ultimate baby face. A lot of my friends call me King Face. You'd be a terrible face, says Austin. You shut your face, Austin! You shut your face! But you're probably right. William said you was going to milk me last Sunday. You made Austin cry. If that makes you happy. That does make me very happy, yes. Tony seems to move a little faster in AEW. She's having more fun, says Real. Brent said Days just went full on heel. I flirted with it, but I've come back from the brink. Marina Shafir on the outside, saying to the ref that she's not going to do anything. She's not touching Toni Storm. Nyla Rose jumps out, grabs Toni, hurls her into the ring steps. Smile on the face of Nyla Rose. Picture in picture on TNT. AEW did 1 million, first time since March, and AEW fans are acting like they've won the World Cup on Twitter. Well, I mean, it's good that they got back to that level. I think if you're an AEW fan, then celebrate it. Sure. Why not? Celebrate success. If you're a WWE fan, I just wouldn't even engage in it, to be honest. If you hate AEW, I don't really understand why people would even engage in that kind of conversation. Nyla Rose getting shoved into the edge of the ring. Strikes coming in by Toni Storm. They're fighting on the outsides. Did you hear what happened to the Stanley Cup? No. What happened, Larry? Make your mind up. You're like flipping Big Show flirting between face and heel. Oh, Big Show flirting. Now we're talking. Well, I've got about 20 different directions that I could take that story, and all of them are filthy, so I'm not gonna walk away from the conversation. But I do love the idea of a flirting Big Show. Ratings are up because there's no New Japan stuff, says Junior. Each 16 million thunderstorms happen each year. 16 million thunderstorms happen around the world. And at any given moment, there are 2,000 thunderstorms in progress. Am I surprised at that? I don't know. I feel like to any one moment there are 2,000 thunderstorms in the world doesn't surprise me. I'm not surprised by that. But 16 million a year, does that surprise me? There's only 365 days. So the fact that the 16 million a year, I think that does surprise me. That one impresses me. The 2,000 at any moment, I don't think that surprises me. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about that. I like that one. I really like that one. It's got me thinking. It has got me thinking. Toni Storm slumped in the corner. We've only got 6 minutes to go. Yeah, what happened? They took pictures with it. They gave it back. What? Someone stole it? Someone stole it and they took pictures with it and it got given back. That's a bit dull, isn't it? Imagine stealing a trophy, having a few pictures with it and then just giving it back. The one they gave back, is it the real one or is it one they made? The one they gave back, does it look like Lego? They should totally have done that. We stole the Stanley Cup trophy. Really sorry. Here it is. And it's just like made of clay. Here you go. Are you sure that's the original one? Yeah. And then you could keep the real one, sell it to a collector for like $100. Toni Storm, perched. It was real. Google it. 1, 2, I believe you. Looking at AEW Toni Storm and WWE's Toni Storm, her in-ring fits AEW, but her look fits WWE, said Big Time Baxter. 1, 2, and Toni gets to the ropes. Toni gets to the rope. She's down. Nyla Rose, the native beast, is in control. When Punk returns, do you see him beating Moxley or Moxley beating Punk? I think Punk will win. 2 count. Kick out by Toni Storm. Do you think when WWE send a pro team a belt, they care? No. But I think that there might be some athletes in that team that are like wrestling fans that care. Like if you was on that team and you'd just won, and then like a WWE belt came in, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna carry this," because you know that if you are celebrating, like on the open top bus and you've got the belt, there's a good chance that your image will be on TV. And you'll be all over social media, and you've got the belt and everything. So, yeah, I reckon. I don't think the teams care at all, but I think there might be a few athletes in those teams that do. Tony Storm goes, getting hung on the ropes. We're getting to it. We ain't got long here. We've only got 3 minutes, ladies. Need to start wrapping this baby up. Oh, she goes to drive a knee into the side of the head of Tony Storm. Tony Storm, that was not great. She tried to use that top rope. She hits a German. 1, 2. Kick out by Nyla Rose. Is the royal family independently wealthy? Where does the wealth come from? Do they get a percentage of GMP? Do they own everything? So the royal family, there is, I think on average, the average British person dedicates like 90p or something to the royal family every year. So they do get money from like the government and whatever. And then I think they also they do have their own wealth, yes. But that wealth has been made up through lots of different means over the years, you know. Just like how the UK's wealth has been made up by a lot of different things over the years. Like we used to have the Empire, didn't we? And so there's a lot of money that would kind of come from other countries, and it's quite complex. But, yes, they do get money every year. They own a lot of things. Like, the Queen owns all the seabeds around the UK. And apparently they're worth billions now because people want to put, like, wind farms on them and all that kind of stuff. So she owns all the seabeds. She's obviously got, like, multiple properties. She owns Regent Street, which is, like, one of the major shopping streets in London. Her portfolio is quite big, actually. And then, of course, she's got the crown jewels. I think I can't remember how much Buckingham Palace is worth. That's worth so much silly, like 13 billion. 13 billion, just Buckingham Palace. And then you got Windsor Castle and all that kind of stuff. So, they don't own everything. They own a lot, and they've got a lot of jewels and a lot of prime real estate, and as I said, all the seabeds. They do get money, but they do have their own wealth, and I think as well, like they own Regent Street, so I think I'm right in saying that all the like money that comes from that like goes into the royal family as well. So there's like lots of different ways that they get money. They're rich. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Yeah. Right, boom. There we go. We are done. We are done. Coach Co said in the 1940s, a retired school teacher came up with Candyland to entertain children that were in hospital with polio because its colour system required no reading. Young kids could easily play. I don't know what Candyland is, but if there's people out there that do, then there you go. Right, we are done. Appreciate the support. Don't you dare forget that tomorrow on this channel we're doing UFC. Big show, massive show. One of the biggest UFC shows of the year. We're doing the full watch along for that over on the Wrestling Escape Pod channel. Money in the bank. I need to race off so that I can get a few things sorted and set up and get ready for tomorrow. So I really appreciate the support. Hope you enjoyed the stream. thank you for joining us as always. And as we said, we are around tomorrow for some big streams. Awesome, guys. Enjoy your evening. Bye for now.